first tattoo, I got my first tattoo at 21 though. I was like 8. How old was I on that tour? I was probably like, no, actually, I got my tattoo my first tattoo before that tour. So I already had like a tattoo. So I was like, yeah, cool. I'm all right. Yeah.
I'm sleeved up.
Dude, I remember that, like, getting that
The first sleeve
like,
done. Yeah, man.
little quarter. And just sleeveless shirts all the time.
Oh,
No
my-
muscle.
Bro,
No muscle.
my first tattoo was on the back of my leg, so I wore shorts all the time. And dude, I remember going to a show in like the middle of January at Chain, and it was like Moria played, this band called Murder in the First played, and it was like it was pouring fucking rain outside, and I wore short shorts,
Hell yeah.
short shorts, and like a t-shirt, and people were like, "Dude, it's freezing." I'm like, "It's not that bad.
It's not that
bad." And I'm like, shivering my ass off, dude. And I'm like, it's not that bad, really.
Oh, man.
And people are like, you're just trying to show off your tattoo, huh? I'm like, yeah.
Maybe
I admitted it. I don't give a fuck. Although I will admit, the only time I ever did like the sleeveless shirt thing was once I got tattooed on the top.
Right.
Because, I went from bottom to top.
up.
I don't know if that's like a normal thing people do.
I don't know. I think it doesn't really.
Yeah, so like when I first started, both of my arms, when I got tattooed, I started on my forearms and went up.
Yeah.
So when I started going up into that area, and especially if like I had a show or something, I would wear a sleeveless shirt. But then it looked so bad because nothing was on that
bare
one.
on one side.
Just the farmer's.
I know. No, it was bad. It was bad.
And I clearly remember being on stage somewhere and like always singing with my left. just this the whole time. Yeah.
Dude,
Awkward.
oh my
Always
god.
turn right to, like fucking scream
That's
out.
of course. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
But the photographer only gets your left.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
This side.
Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals. They're about to make that very clear.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Walking Blind podcast where we like to normalize checking in on your homies. This is episode 148. And if you like what we do, please follow, like, subscribe, because it helps. I am Mike. That is also Mike. And today we have our buddy, Billy Sweet from Destruction of a King, finally making it happen.
Finally making it happen.
Years?
After years.
Years. Yeah.
Literal years.
Literal years. Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Thank you.
We're here now.
We're here. Yeah,
We
we're
made
here
it.
now. Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna bore you for like 3 hours talking about audio, sound, gear.
Yeah, you're just gonna not be a part of the episode not anymore.
Hey, dude.
Sick intro though,
I've had those
Appreciate it,
episodes.
but we'll take it from here.
We've had those episodes where, like, when they start talking about cars. Then
Oh, yeah, no.
I just
No, if someone starts talking about cars, I'm out too. I don't do cars. I don't give a fuck about.
We had a buddy of ours who does like drag racing, and that's shout out Steve Easton Motorsports, and he came in and started talking cars, and Mike just like.
I think I'd legitimately fall asleep. Look,
it's just learning. That's for me. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna learn tonight.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is where I get
Don't
to
learn today.
listen.
He's like, what makes a car funny? What makes a funny car?
Yeah. But maybe. Actually, no. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe soon I'll be able to talk cars because I'm going for my CDL.
Are you?
Are you really?
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. Which makes zero sense.
So Mike's a propane guy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went from-
Literally, last episode you were talking about your job as a social worker. Now you slang propane.
Yeah.
I'll sell propane and propane accessories. Fucking Hank Hill over here. Dude.
Yes.
I just want to say, damn it, Mikey.
God damn it, Mikey.
Very good.
That's
Thank you.
actually really good.
Thank you, Mike. See, I could be a voice
See?
actor.
Dude, we're in the game.
We are in the game. Does it ever get annoying that both of your names are Mike? So when someone says, "Hey, Mike," you both are fucking looking at each other.
I think we've just gotten used to it.
Did people just say like your last name to differentiate?
Usually, yeah.
I mean, and also too, it's like if you can, if I hear Mike and you're not looking at me, then I know.
Sure. But what if I'm playing a prank on you and you're just like, hey, Mike, and then you look, what? Well, I'm not talking to you. And you're like, I don't know.
I think it's harder when we're in public.
Oh yeah, well, yeah,
at the same
sure.
time.
Yeah.
And then like people be like Mike, and I'll turn around. They're like,
Fuck, not you.
Well, and then if you're hanging out with Martin,
yeah.
and they know you're Mike, then
Yeah.
there's confusion a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's happened a couple times.
So we've we went to Rad Coffee.
I love that place.
Love Rad
Which
Coffee.
one did you go to?
We were in the Upland one.
Yeah, me too. I love that
which
one.
I think is the OG one.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were there, and Martin and I went to get coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy recognized him from the Bragging Rights. Oh, you're Martin from the Bragging Rights. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I ordered my coffee, and I'm like, for Mike. He's like, does that mean you're? And I go, yeah. At this point, I'm just like,
Okay.
but then if we're together
Yeah.
and people recognize him, they look at me like I'm Martin, even though I'm not as tall.
Oh.
So I just say yeah.
There's another dude in the scene that I used to mistake for Martin all the time. And for the life of me, I can't remember who it is. But I swear, I'm like, are you a no? He's like, no, I get it all the time, though. And I can't remember who the guy is. It's going to make me so mad.
Is it Russ from Jackknife?
I don't know. I don't know who it is, but literally, I used to see him all the time, like back in the day, like when I first started listening to NBR, like in like 2010, 2011. I'm like, are you Martin? Are you Martin? And then I would see him later on in life, and they look straight up the exact same. And and he's like, no, I get it all the time. It's not me. I'm like, fuck, sorry, you know.
My bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, that's pretty funny though. But Rad Coffee's good. Me and my girlfriend, we went there on our third date ever. Like I was like, I've always wanted to go here, and she was like, I've never been there either. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of thought that place was gonna be like bigger,
Yeah.
like a not necessarily a restaurant, but like a place where like
Like a lounge. Type
yeah, there would be like
yeah.
a lounge, like a bunch of like nice like tables and like chairs and shit like this. But it was just a counter and then like two tables on the side. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
it. I guess. But the coffee was still
The coffee's cool.
Yeah.
A+ stuff.
And their merch is sick. I love
Yeah,
their merch.
100%, 100%. And like we went around the time it was like Thanksgiving and Christmas time, so there was a lot of really cool like seasonal drinks.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And they all look so fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah. Rad has pretty cool coffee. So does have you heard of Roast the Dead?
I have. Never been, but heard of it, yeah.
It's like a horror theme.
Where's that?
Riverside, right?
There's one in Riverside. They're in Riverside now.
There's one in North Hollywood by my apartment. There's a horror themed coffee shop in like downtown North Hollywood, and I can't remember the name of it, but I've driven past it. Every time I drive past it, though, it's already closed. It's like 7:00. I'm like, motherfucker, please be open later. But
Yeah.
but it looks really cool. But what's the one that you just said called?
It's called Roast the Dead.
Roast the Dead. Okay.
Yeah. You go in and they have like a bunch of like animatronic characters from like movies.
Oh, I
called
love
Dark.
that.
Yeah, and all their coffees are like themed. So a lot of them are sweet, but like,
Yeah.
you know, they'll be like blood drizzle and stuff like that. It'll just be
Oh.
like flavors. So it's cool.
Nah, I'm down.
Gotta go there.
Yeah, if
Definitely,
you're just going
I'm
for a
down.
black coffee, probably not the place to go.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you want something fancy, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why you go to all those shops. You go for the fancy schmancy shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I think everybody, when they were telling about Rad Coffee, they're like, dude, try the Cookie Monster drink.
Oh
that they
yeah.
have."
Totally.
Yep.
All the delicious sweet drinks. That's the kind of the. I feel like I bum people out when they find out like I worked at a coffee shop for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Because they assume that I know a lot about coffee. And
Yeah.
I really don't. I just made it a lot.
Yeah.
And then for my drink order, I get like a super sweet drink. And so I think people would assume that like, oh, you just do pour overs or something, or just black coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I like black coffee, but I also like flavored coffee.
Yeah.
What's your what's your order usually when you go for coffee?
So I really like butterscotch anything. So if I find a butterscotch, I will do it. So my shop,
Underrated. I feel like nobody likes butterscotch. It's underrated
Right?
as fuck,
I love
dude.
it.
Dang. Yeah.
It's the old lady candies.
sure,
You know?
which I have,
Oh, that's true.
which we have. We have a big ass.
The
jar.
Werther's Originals, is that what
Yeah,
they're called?
yeah. They're so good.
Yeah.
And like the toffee.
Yeah, we got those. But it's also hard to find butterscotch flavoring at places.
Yeah.
And so I've just learned to make the poor man's butterscotch, which is caramel and toffee nut, basically.
Ooh, that's good stuff though.
Yeah.
I used to when I used to drink. I don't really drink coffee much anymore, but when I did, when I would go to Starbucks, I would get a hazelnut frappuccino with like oh my god. Basically, I forgot what it was because my sister was a barista there, so she would make something and it tasted like Twix.
Oh, nice.
She would call it the Twix Frappuccino. She would put like the cookie crumble stuff on top on the whip, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have a heart attack at 28 years old, bro. But this shit was good. Shit was real good. Toffee nut, that's what it was called. Yeah, that shit was good.
Yep.
That shit was good, bro.
We used to, when he worked at Starbucks, we used to, actually, that's how me and Martin became really close. Like, we were friends before, but he worked at Starbucks off Harupa.
Oh, yeah.
And I had just moved back from LA, and I was living in, like, literally my homie's bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Which was smaller than this, right? So, like, he had the bed, and I would just sleep on the floor. And it was just, like, an in-between type of thing. But I didn't want to hang out there with Mike Miller. So I would just go to the Starbucks that he worked at and just hang out there, and then Martin was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And so like we started at like different tables,
Yeah.
and then it was like, we're friends, why aren't we like actually hanging out?
Filipino.
Yeah, we're friends and we're Filipino. Come on, bro. And then and then we started like cranking that Soldier Boy, you know. That's literally what we've like bonded over, just because we thought it was hilarious. And then
That song is.
We just
a
started
song
hanging out
is a
all the time.
banger. Like, if we're being real, shit is a banger.
it was just during that time when that song was everywhere and everybody was doing
That's
the
not
dance.
like what? How? When did that song come out? Like 06, 07?
Yeah, it was 07.
Pull it up, Jesse. No, just kidding. I'm
was
just kidding. I'm
07.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do it. Don't worry about it.
Because I came back from audio engineering school
Yeah.
in 2007, and I came back to
Where did you go to? Sorry, Perez. Where did you go to? Where did you go to
So it was
school?
SAE, Institute of Technology. It was like School of Audio Engineering.
Okay. In LA or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they used to have a campus in Hollywood, and then that campus closed down. Their main campus, where you could actually pursue like a full-on bachelor's and master's in music,
Yeah.
is in Australia.
Oh shit.
It's right in what is it? That big bay,
Byron Bay.
Byron Bay.
That's where Parkway Drive is from.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. So they have a main like huge campus
Really?
there.
Okay.
And you could get your essentially like your certificate for audio.
Yeah.
And then you could finish up and do like bachelor's and everything out there if you chose to.
Okay.
Sick.
That's pretty cool.
But I ended up like my girlfriend at the time, her mom was a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was finishing school, I like had the option to either like I got an offer from I think it was Knitting Factory to be a runner, but I had to do it in New York. And so it was like, okay, New York or like I'm here, I have a band here, I have a girlfriend here, you know, everything like that. So then I ended up like right as I was finishing school, my girlfriend at the time, her mom worked at a law office and she offered me a job. And I was like, okay, I'll just do that. Because it was like more money than I'd ever been paid in my life.
Yeah.
And then I really ended up only using like the audio stuff for like my band or like demos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then later like voiceover and everything.
It pays to have an audio person in a band now, especially now. There's at least one person in every band that knows audio to some degree, whether it's just recording a demo or like full on mixing and mastering or whatever. Fuck, dude, that pays. Legitimately saved your band so much money.
Yeah.
Dude, I forgot that like he did that shit. So I had been asked to do a guest vocal spot, and normally our buddy that I usually do it with, he was busy, he couldn't do it, and then he's like, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that how it went down?
Yeah.
And then I was like blown away with how like I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you know how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Didn't that song and music video like chart?
yeah. It's like the biggest thing I've
Wait,
done.
which one?
It was
the band is called
I was just listening
for
to this the other
Fahrenheit.
day. Fahrenheit. Yeah. They're from Spain.
yeah.
They're
Okay.
from
The
Barcelona.
song's called Changes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's like metalcore type stuff.
Is this like fairly recently?
A few years ago.
A few years ago?
Yeah.
Years ago. But
And-
Now, when you
dope,
say
dude.
metalcore, what kind of metalcore are we talking about? Are we talking about like Counterparts? Or are we talking about like Throwdown, 18 Visions, Bleeding Through?
A little softer.
A little softer. So like Static Dress.
Kind of. So the song, and I say this
I'll
with
check
all
it
due
out
respect,
when.
its song sounds like an Architects song.
Okay, so more like
A
genty
little,
stuff?
but a little of the newer Architects where he's singing.
Oh,
or
like
Samson.
so the stadium rock
Yeah.
stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Like how fucking it's just like
Kinda
just
like-
it just sounds like every song.
Yeah. Kind
Every Parkway Drive song sounds like that now.
dude. I know.
Just
what I-
the 80s like stadium rock drums with like Winston doing like fucking like, "I'll get eye there."
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I saw
Right
I
before
saw
breakdown,
a
yeah.
commercial for them. They're like the band that introduces like Fox Footy in Australia now. So there was this big like
Fox Footy. What is
it's
that?
soccer in Australia.
Oh.
It's Fox's soccer channel in Australia.
Oh, really? No shit.
And they like the season was starting, and then they had like this flag, and then you just see the dudes start shredding, and Parkway's
the
playing the
fuck
full intro,
outta here.
and it's just Winston going like, "Yeah," you know, and there's like flames shooting up everywhere. Like he's not
That's
fully
so awesome, though.
Yeah, he's not fully screaming, but still seeing Parkway as like the face
Well,
of
dude,
this
like
channel.
yeah, like they have you ever seen their documentary, like the 2008 one on YouTube? Isn't that like
inspiring?
oh,
Yeah.
literally? I was talking to my girlfriend about this because she was like asking what it's like to like go on tour and all that stuff, and I go, there's been a lot of times where I hate it, and a lot of times where I love it, and I'm like, I've been down on myself in the past a lot because I was like, oh, I'm not going on tour as much as I wanted to, blah blah blah, and then I would watch their documentary on like when they first came to the States,
Yes.
sleeping on a fucking abandoned ship and shit like that. And I go, dude, I gotta get on the road. And,
Yeah.
and it's just like they're going to like, they're literally like, they were like, oh, we're gonna go to Europe and we have no booking agent, we have no nothing.
Yeah.
Like we've never been out there. We're just gonna go, and then we're gonna find shows that have empty bill or like have an open slot that a band hasn't showed up for. Blah blah blah. We're just gonna ask every performer if we can play, and they were like. There was this one venue in Germany that they played. I remember there was like 150 kids there, and they were like a year and a half later, played the same venue, sold out 1,500.
Yeah.
And it's like, motherfucker.
Dude, and like I would hear stories about them from just people that would travel with them or tour with them. They're like, yeah, so they're doing a South America tour, and then they start their Europe tour a week later. And the reason it's a week later is because 3 of the guys rented motorcycles, and they're gonna ride through the Andes Mountains, and then pick up in the States when everybody meets them. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Wild, dude.
They booked an entire tour based on surf spots.
Based on surf spots.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And whenever they would do Australia, that's what they would do when they were first doing that shit. Yeah, dude. And it's just crazy that like Adam D, fucking Killswitch Engage's guitar player, was like, yeah, I'll take a chance on them because this was back then. Like, if you didn't sound like XYZ band, you weren't on MTV, you weren't on the radio, and like MySpace was like the biggest. Still to this day, I believe is the best thing to ever happen to metalcore, hardcore, any core genre. Was the best thing to ever happen, even for like just I guess you could say like rock music, like still. But with them, it was like nobody knew who the fuck they were. If it wasn't for MySpace, I never would have known who they were.
Yeah.
But they shot Adam D a MySpace message, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, come to the States. I'll record fucking Killing with a Smile, arguably one of the best records like in metalcore."
Yeah. It's shit like that. And even like, back then I Killed the Prom Queen took them.
Yeah, that's right.
And I Killed the Prom Queen
They
was
did a split too.
huge,
Yeah.
right? And then now like,
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. And they're bringing like Crafter out to like
Yeah.
fucking guest vocal and stuff.
Which sucks because I've always loved I Killed the Prom Queen. I've always loved those bands equally. But like when they came to the States, like the very few times that they have, it feels like no one really like fucked them as much.
Yeah. I think I Killed
Even when they play like that, sorry to interrupt you.
you're good.
Even when they would play like the old good shit, like Sharks in Your Mouth and Say Goodbye, people would be like, oh, I guess this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you not freaking out right now? You know what I mean?
it was that band that was like, I think they were ahead of their time.
They were.
And now people go back and go, these fucking records rip. But
Yeah.
they weren't going to shows back then to see them play.
Exactly. And also, it was kind of one of those things, if I remember right, because I've watched And I Kill the Prom Queen like DVD. I wish that bands today would do DVDs like they would back in the 2000s. Like, I remember seeing something where I think it was Crafter or Jonah Weinhoffen being like, yeah, we just take a really long time to like write shit.
Yeah.
Like we don't just write and then just pump things out if we don't think they're good enough. That's why it takes forever for us to like write a record or tour or this and that and the other. So it's kind of like, Music for the Recently Deceased was like I think was like their only like full length record, and then they broke up, and then that new one with like I forgot what it's called, Beloved, I think, or there's a song title called that, right?
I think so. I don't remember what
Whatever that
record was
white
called, yeah.
record was with the new singer, which by the way, such a good record.
Yeah.
And I saw them play with the Devil Wears Prada and the Ghost Inside at the Glass House in like 2013, and I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
this band is back. And then like they'd play like Warped Tour like another year later, and then they're just
Yeah.
now they're not a thing again.
Well, because then like I think Jonah went to Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, well,
for a
he
while.
was so yeah. Like Jonah went from I Killed the Prom Queen to Bleeding Through,
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah.
which was insane. Then yes, went to Bring Me the Horizon.
And then Crafter, not the original vocalist, but the second vocalist, went to Bury Your Dead, I think, for a while.
I thought Crafter was the original vocalist, and then Ed Butcher was the
Oh, sorry, yeah. He was the original. Ed came in, and then Crafter came back.
yeah.
Right, so like I guess
Crafter
third time
talks
around.
shit about Ed Butcher. I don't know if you've ever seen that little clip before, but it's around there. He's like, yeah, I fucking skate a little cunt. Don't like him. You know what I mean?
Dude,
you can take that out if you want. But
he's funny, dude. Like he
canceled. Sorry.
doesn't give a shit. Like, dude, he started that band.
Yeah, that is true.
He started that band Confession. Do you remember Confession?
Never listened to him. Heard the name a bunch though.
Confession, couple bangers, like kind of I Killed the Prom Queen style, like, you know. And then at some point in time, all the dudes in Confession wanted to kick him out. So they made an announcement from the band page that he was out of the band.
Oh wow.
And he, having all the logins, logged in, changed everything, kicked all of them out, and was like, fuck you guys, this is my band.
Oh,
and got a full new lineup.
Yeah.
And then
there you
released
go.
another record with a brand new lineup. I was like, God, okay.
I used to because back in the day, like when I was in high school, there was a band from Orange County called The Confession. So I used to get those two bands mixed up every once in a while.
Yeah.
The Confession was like a one record band. They were like hot for like a year and a half, and then just.
Yeah.
But they were like they were kind of more along the lines of like I'm trying to think of like not like Bullet for My Valentine, but like I can't really remember right now. But they were still pretty good though. But
Yeah.
like it was one of those like just faded out super quick. And I feel like if I Killed the Prom Queen came back and we're like, yeah, we're gonna do because like that music for the recently deceased, I believe is 20 years old now. If they're like, we're gonna do a 20-year anniversary for that, I bet people would be like, I'm coming out for that.
It
Coming
has
out
to
on my
be.
retirement for sure.
Because Parkway's going through like their 20-year cycle right now, too. So,
Killing with a Smile would be 20 years.
Yeah.
By now.
yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. That record like changed the game for me. I was like,
Yeah. It was
this riffy, like,
I'm gonna be honest, the first time I heard Parkway, I didn't like them.
really?
Yeah. There's a lot of bands that I listen to now when I first listened to them, I didn't like them at all.
Yeah.
Like Parkway was one, and then I heard the song Dead Man's Chest, and I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. And then August Burns Red was one, Veil of Maya, Born of Osiris, all those like Sumerian Records bands that were
Yeah.
like just like dig it. Like I hated all of that
Yeah.
shit. And then one day I was just like, nah, this is actually kind of sick because I saw them live.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, they can actually like
They can do that.
they can do this shit live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Parkway for me until I saw the DVD, saw the DVD. Then it changed, and then I was like, oh, I respect it. And
Yeah.
then it made me a listener.
The DVD changed that for a lot of people. Like,
Oh, yeah.
even Jake and Steve and Creative Void weren't really fans. And then we were on tour and I played them the DVD.
Yeah.
Dude, watch this shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, fuck. This is sick.
I remember back in like 2000 when it first came out. I think it was on YouTube for like in Lipid, they like split it up into a bunch of parts. And I remember George Gonzalez, who is the original guitar player with me on the self-titled stuff. We were all at his house before we started writing, or like during the time we were writing the self-titled EP. We watched it to like inspire us to
Yeah.
want to do the bigger, greater picture at the time in the infant years of Destruction of the King. So yeah,
Crazy.
And I still watch it on occasion. Like I'll remember and be like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna put it on YouTube right now. And
Yeah.
it's just like, God. Even though like I don't really care if I don't tour much anymore because I'm 37 years old and my back hurts and I'm good. I don't need to be squashed in a van, but I watch it every once in a while just to be like, God, it's just a cool story in general.
Yeah.
Like they came from this small little beach town in Australia, and now they're arguably like the one of the biggest bands in like metal, just metal in general, you know?
And not only that, they were all like kind of whatever about the instruments that they played, other than like the one
like-
guitar player.
Yeah.
You
Good
know.
buddy.
Like they were
Yeah, like Winston was like a pro like
this pro bodyboarder.
bodyboarder, and then like
I
their
think it was-
drummer didn't even play drums.
I think
like,
Crafter on that DVD said, I don't think Ben will play drums when Parkway ends.
yeah,
He literally was just like, they just needed somebody who could fill in the spot.
so crazy. And he's so good.
And he's amazing at drums. And like their current bass player now, they're just like, hey, do you just want to play bass? And he's just like, yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was just a homie.
He was just a homie, yeah.
Dude, one thing I really like about Parkway is they're very like open and honest about their story.
Yeah.
So recently I had shown him there was like a little mini documentary about them and how they all had to work on their mental health because
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
because like their
recently
bass
saw that,
player has been playing with them this whole time and was never part of like officially part of Parkway.
Huh.
So he was like being paid as a fill-in guy. And he even said, he's like, you know, it's crazy because I never really thought of it, but I'm like looking at my friends buying houses and buying like all the things that they want because we're blowing up. And he's like, and I'm like a day worker.
Yeah, he has to work a job.
Damn.
Yeah. And so he went home and he started doing like manual labor during COVID. And he was like, people were like telling me how good of a worker I was. And I liked it. I liked feeling accomplished like that. Yeah. And they had to like all go to therapy and have this big like group talk about and not only that, like his fiance died. She had
This is their bass player?
yeah.
What the fuck?
She had cancer.
Oh,
And she died while he was on tour.
oh my God. See, that's another reason why I can't go on tour anymore, dude. Like, it's because like, at the age that I'm at now, just
Life's
like,
different now.
Life is different. Like I was on tour in like 2011 with that band, The Great Commission.
Yeah.
And my grandpa had a stroke like a few months before going on that tour, and his health as in general was just on a decline. And I would get calls from my family a lot, just being like, "When are you coming home? When are you coming home?" And at one point in time, I'm like, I had to just leave the tour early. I'm like, it was the last day of a tour, and luckily it was at the New England Metal and Hardcore Fest. And I was like, okay, as soon as this show is done, I'm getting a hotel room and I'm flying home.
Yeah.
So my parents just got me a ticket out of Boston and just,
Yeah.
and I had to quit touring for a significant amount of time because of that. So,
Dude, I wasn't even on tour. We were just playing Death Fest at the Galaxy Theater.
Oh
in
my
Santa Ana.
God. Wait, you played?
Yeah.
What band were you in at the time?
2006. I was a band called Declare Your War.
I know that. I know of that band.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. So you played with, oh no, that was, what did you play with ABRB or Suicide Silence? What day was that?
We played with As Blood Runs Black.
Okay, because there's another fest, I think it was called September to Remember.
Yeah.
And that was like, It Dies Today, Kitty, Bring Me the Horizon. I thought that was the same. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so Death Fest, this was like 2006.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And our drummer had forgotten his fucking throne
Yeah.
in Riverside. So I went to take him back. It was like me, my girlfriend at the time, and same thing. My grandfather had a stroke, and I was gonna either cancel the show or like have somebody fill in for me.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Nah, he would want you to do this."
Yeah.
And I got a call. We're sitting in traffic like, before we play.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, "Hey, you got to say your goodbyes because he's gonna go now." And so like Jared's asleep in the back. My girlfriend at the time is sitting next to me, and I'm like talking to my grandfather, like pouring my heart out to him, and then he
On the
died.
phone?
On the phone.
Oh, fuck.
And he was in essentially like in a coma, right? Like he wasn't responsive. And I like poured my heart out to him, and then he like died on the phone.
Yeah.
with me. And I just like sitting in traffic.
Dude, fuck. And
We had to play an hour later.
There were two situations in when Destruction of a King was like in the like earlier stages back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, where so my aunt had passed away in 2009 in a freak accident, like they were doing off-roading or ATVing or motocross or something like that, and my aunt had fallen off her bike, and an ATV went off a jump and landed right on top of her. She died immediately. Yeah. So we had a show. I was at Alex's parents' house spending the night. I get a call from my dad. He's hysterical. He's like, your aunt just died. Come home right now. And that was one. I had to play a show that night.
Yeah.
But then after that show, went to they lived in Arizona, flew to Arizona for like a week, stayed, hung out with them and all that type of stuff, flew back and just had to continue life. And then in 2011, 2 days before Christmas, Destruction of a King had a headlining show at the Glass House. And 5 minutes, no bullshit, 5 minutes before we went on, I got a call from my dad. My dad's like, "Hey, your grandpa he's gone.
Yeah.
He just passed." So And I was like, he's like, I know you're at your show right now. Go play your set. You know, Christmas Eve is the next day. Christmas Day, you know, we're all going to hang out. And then after that, we're going to all get together and, you know, do a service. And then the funeral was like a week later. And it was just like, man, you just never know, dude.
Dude, even I thought about this the other day, and I was going to give my dad a hard time. But even like, and I know this is not equating to the loss of like a human life, but
Yeah.
when we were on tour and my dog died.
No, dude,
It was
that's
like my best friend. Like, it's my ride or die.
Yeah.
And same thing, my dad called me. He's like,
Yeah.
I know you're about to play. I was going to wait until afterwards,
yeah.
but I figured you should know as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and we were like looking at the cameras because it was like right here in the backyard. So I had cameras in the
Yeah,
back.
sure.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just-
But dude, that's a member of your family, animal or human.
Yeah.
It's still a member of your family. It's your best friend, you know, like how many, there's so many memes that I see on TikTok or on Instagram reels where it's like, you know, a dog is a part of your life. You are its whole life.
Yeah.
And that put it into perspective. That hurts, dude. That hurts.
Yeah, dude.
That fucking dude. My mom loves to watch Game Show Network whenever she's at home, just chilling out. And my dad's doing his shit with his cars and all that. And so I was going to work one day, and fucking my mom has the TV muted. I look up, and it's the fucking ASPCA commercial, and she's like, "I'm not listening to that fucking commercial. I don't want to cry." Dude. And I'm like, "Yeah, good point. Me either." You know what I mean? So.
Sylvia, our homie's wife, sent me this video. She's like, "You need to do this at my birthday party," and somebody's singing karaoke. It's that Sarah McLachlan song.
No.
And somebody's in the background going, "In the arms of an angel,"
yeah,
and
yeah.
the dude
Poorly.
like
Poorly,
singing
yeah.
it poorly. But then
Yeah.
the dude also has a microphone like standing in front of him, and he's like, "Every day," he's like reading the commercial.
Yo, that's good.
Dude,
That's
we
pretty
literally
good.
saw it today.
Dude, I was like,
Oh,
yes.
shit. That's pretty funny. Like, I know that's sad, but that is
Yeah.
funny still. That's good.
It's just, I mean, it's just crazy to think that, you know, like in these cases, like
Yeah.
we were young, like we're playing
Yeah.
shows and stuff, but like this wasn't how we were surviving or making our money.
No, not at all.
So then imagine the guys that are doing this full time, that are in a band
Yeah.
to pay their bills, and devastating shit like this happens.
Yeah.
You still have to
You still have to
perform. You still have to put on a show. You still have
Dude,
to keep going.
I think it was a stand-up comedian. I think it was Brad Williams. Do you know who Brad Williams is? Little
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
He was talking on one of his stand-up specials about how his dad like had cancer or something like that, and they didn't think he was going to make it. And then I think he said like on his last round of chemo, they were like, you know, something like that. And it was like right before one of his special tapings, I believe it was, or at least in his career, like the first time he like did a theater or something like that. And so he got the call that his dad is cancer free, like right before he fucking went on stage.
Shit.
And he was just like, that was like the coolest fucking feeling, like the best feeling ever, dude. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
dude.
And like the you know, are you like too familiar with like stand up comedy pretty like well? Or so Bert Kreischer and Chris DiStefano on the Bertcast a few years ago were talking about how it's hard to be a dad with young daughters, and they're just like, dude, like, you know, they straight up were crying to each other about how sad it is that they can't be there for a lot of really important stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, them making as much money as they do, it's like, yeah, they could take time off, but it's like if they do, then
Fizzle out.
yeah. Well, not even that. It's like just like that's how
That's how they make money.
Yeah.
that's how they make their money. They're the breadwinners. That's how they, you know, their kids' doctor visits and their school and food, survival, literally the house they live in and shit. So it's
Yeah.
just like the sacrifices that you got to make as somebody who goes on tour, no matter what field of work you're in, an actor, a musician, a comedian, just even like a speaker, a motivational speaker, a podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit you got to sacrifice. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, how do you, like, anybody who, like you were saying, anybody who does it full time, I'm like, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I remember this interview with Kellen Quinn, and he said that anytime Sleeping with Sirens, at least, I don't know about now, but at least back in the day when he had a newborn kid, that any day Sleeping with Sirens had a day off, he would fly home, and whenever the next day they would play, he would fly into that city and the band would pick him up from the airport.
Because the money he spent was worth it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like. I could have missed my daughter's first words or like first walking or whatever. So it's just like, hey, man, if you're able to and you can, fucking do it, dude.
Shout out Sleeping with Sirens. They're
Yeah.
doing a lot of cool shit.
Dude, I don't know if you guys have seen a documentary called The Other F Word. And it's about like, it's
Yes.
mostly punk rock dads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, Jim from Pennywise.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think he has like 3 daughters, and that's why he left Pennywise when he did.
Yeah.
He came back, but like,
Wasn't Tim from Rise Against and
Yeah.
somebody from Fat Mike was Fat
Yeah,
Mike in it
Fat
too?
Mike was on it.
And then I think Lars from Rancid.
Rancid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a great documentary, dude. I need to find that again. That was a good one. Yeah.
yeah, and freaking, what's his name? Peter from, oh my gosh. Peter, or Dwayne Peters?
I'm not sure.
Skater. He's one he talks about losing his son
Oh jeez.
on it. But just like singer from Pennywise, Jim, you know, it was showing him like he was taking his daughter to like one of her dances, like a father-daughter dance.
Yeah.
And then I think on that documentary, I feel like he announces that he was leaving Pennywise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they got Zoli from Ignite, which was kind of sick because I love Zoli. But but still,
That guy's just taking everybody's spot, isn't he?
yeah, oh yeah, he's the Misfits for me.
yeah.
But I mean, just you know, it must be so hard, especially for like when you've done. It's not even just that like you know want to be with your family, but you've done this for so long. Like
Yeah.
what other?
Like what else do you have?
Yeah, what were you doing that is bringing income in? For
Yeah.
that?
Exactly. Because I think all 3 of us could say, I mean, I know no bragging rights, like did a lot of cool shit, but I'm not sure if that was like paying the bills back then for you or not. No. Okay. Like I legitimately didn't know. Like I know you guys did Warped Tour in a van and shit for like, you know, financial purposes. And like you guys, you know, a lot of bands are like, yeah, you make more money that way. But like, you know, every time I was touring, every time I would have to either quit a job, find a new one, or work a job that would try to be accommodating to the tour schedule. Like the one job that I had that was like the best at it was I was working under the table for like this like manufacturing company that put together USB drives.
Oh.
Sick.
So it was like, but the problem with that as well was the work was inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like we'd have work for a month and then there would be no work for another month and then 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks would go by, no work, and then 2 months. So it was like, that was just like, it was cool because like at least there was wiggle room for me to be like, oh, I can go on this tour or not. But you know, if I was in like I was working at like a hotel or I was working at like a movie theater or something like that, like a corporate job, they'd be like, well, we don't know if we can. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go anyways. So yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, exactly. And like there were some jobs that were like, yeah, like at the movie theater that I used to work at in like 2010, after like the real first big tour that I did, they were like, how long are you going to be gone for? I'm like, about a month and a half, like from October to the middle of November. Oh, okay, so you'll be back in time for holidays, for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, cool. Like when you come back, like your job will be here waiting for you. I come back, it's like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. They're like, oh, we're not hiring people that used to work here.
Oh.
I'm like, you're not rehiring people? Why? They're like, well, we just feel it. I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want to hear it. So
Yeah, I quit like that law office job.
Yeah.
I wanted to. We had the record release for Creative Void, and we were gonna do a like West Coast run.
Yeah.
And I think we were only gonna be gone for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
But it was like I was gonna use all my vacation for it, and my boss at the time was like, "If that's what you're gonna do, I accept your resignation." And I was like, "Okay, where do I sign?"
What an asshole, dude. Fuck
So,
that.
but also that probably had to deal with the fact that I was dating her daughter.
Oh.
You know, and like
Yeah.
she's like, "Fuck this punk rock shit that you're doing." you know?
Yeah, dude.
So I get it, but also
But
I
at
was
the same
like,
time, this reminds me of like the you know, there's a lot of stories I think we all 3 of us here can have about like a time where you wish you would have either done or not had done something. When I was working at a hotel, this you know, I had just gotten promoted from like a bellman to like a front desk worker, and that was like full-time benefits, full-time hours. It was going to be like, it was like a big boy job, you know what I'm saying? When it was $8 an hour minimum wage, I was making 16 an hour, you know what I mean? Like that whole thing. So I had gotten accepted for that position, and then the Great Commission was like, hey, we're doing a 2-week tour in Germany headlining these like Christian festivals. do you want to come with us? We need a bass player. And I was like, absolutely. So I expedited my passport, which cost like $170 at the time. This was like in 2013. And then I was like, oh, I need to talk to my, talk to my work about this whole thing. Cause back then, like when I was a valet, they were pretty like, oh, you're going to be gone for like a week. Cool. We don't care.
Yeah.
But this is like, working for a corporation, you get benefits and all this type of shit. It's a whole new ball game. So I was just like, okay, let me see what they say. And the guy, the head of the department, was just like, when is the tour? And I go, July this to July that. And they go, well, that's summer hours, or that's summer season. That's our peak of the season. And I go, yeah, but it's like also right now it's like March.
Yeah.
So I'm like letting you know like 4 months ahead of time.
Right.
And they're like, you know what? Let's reconvene in like May or June. Let's revisit this. So at the time I revisited it with them, and they're just like, send us your like the dates you're going to be gone. So I showed them like the tour itinerary, tour schedule, and all that stuff. And they were like, yeah, no. And I'm like, why would you ask me to send you this shit if you were just going to say no? Like, just fucking say no. Yeah. And they're like, well, we thought maybe we could try. I'm like, that I don't believe you. Yeah. Don't give me that whole rigmarole. So I talked about this with like my parents, and they were like, well, what do you want to do? And at that point in time in my life, I was like trying to save up money to get my own place. I was like, I didn't want to be a financial burden on my family because I had already been enough touring for however many years I was before that. So I'm like, I'm just going to go back to work and just do this, whatever. I'm not going to go on the tour. And then years later, I talked to my parents about this, and they're like, you should have gone on the tour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? They're like, dude, if you would have come back without a job, we would have helped you.
Yeah.
And I was like, motherfucker. But at the same,
fuck you for supporting me.
But at the same time, my parents, and I'm sure maybe your parents have said the same thing. It's like these things happen to you because it leads you to where you are right now.
Right.
If it would have gone a different way, where would you be today? You don't know. Yeah. So it's like, in a sense, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, fuck it. I should have gone. I should have gone because like, when's the next time I was going to get paid to play music in Europe?
Yeah.
Because I want to go to Europe very badly.
And how long did you play with Great Commission?
From 2010 to 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we play Jamboree together?
Jamboree. In Ohio?
Ohio?
Yeah. Oh, you were there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose we did. That was because like Evergreen Terrace, Carnifex, Asking Alexandria, like Moss of Flames, Immure, Carnifex, and Hell followed with.
Yeah.
I think
I remember talking with Chris and
because we were on tour. Great Commission was on tour with Lionheart, Greenery, Legend, and Lionheart at the time. So what the hilarious part about all that is everybody on that tour but us was booked to play on the Jamboree. And then one band, Monsters. Remember Monsters? Yeah. They had dropped that tour because they broke up.
Oh shit.
They broke up halfway through the tour. So we were like, can we get that spot? And whoever the booking agent was like, yeah, sure. And we just took their spot.
Just rolled this whole tour package.
It was awesome.
Cody, dude. Think of that. That's funny because I remember it was one of those things when because Chris, being from Riverside and we're being all excited, being like, oh fuck, like look at us here.
Yeah.
Look at us here being the early bands on a festival where like no one gives a fuck.
Dude, no, but like I don't know about you guys, but like our set was pretty dang good. Like that was at least in my tenure with that band, the most people I've ever played in front of. And like kids went off because we played that smaller stage, like on the other side, not the big. We wanted to play the big stage. We were like, come on, please. I'm like, no, you just got added on yesterday. Yeah. You're gonna play on the fucking big stage. Go on the smaller stage where you belong. You know what I mean? So, but that fest was so sick.
Yeah, for us, it was like that was like a big deal because the summer leading up to that was a summer that we were hustling Warped Tour, and then we were just. Because it's Warped Tour, so it's like there's like 6 bands that like you give a shit about. Like the rest of it's like whatever bands.
What year was this?
I think it's 2008. I think. Oh no.
What?
No.
Jamboree Festival?
No.
Oh, the Warped Tour that you were hustling.
The Warped Tour we were hustling. It had to have been later.
I remember going to I think the 2012 one. I think I remember you guys slinging CDs at that one. I could be wrong though, because I went to multiple dates at that one. So
I'm trying to remember now,
Not
but I just remember it was one of those things where like we finally got to play in front of Evergreen Terrace.
oh yeah,
And then and Josh like being like, okay, we're gonna take you guys out at some point, and then he left Evergreen Terrace.
oh Josh, the guitar
Josh
player that's in
James.
Stig now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the next year we got to play the main stage for Jamboree.
Dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think that was probably the biggest. I think it was the biggest crowd we had played for at that time.
Really? Yeah. Because I was gonna say NBR's done a lot of, at least in my eyes, a lot of big shit.
We just played.
Well, I'm just saying, outsider looking in. Come on.
Yeah. Played.
This
Humble
we don't have to talk about this.
We got.
All right, fine.
We don't have to reiterate this
Yeah.
sad story again and again.
All right, all right.
See, Project Pat's gonna be on Sound and Fury.
Who?
The rapper, Project Pat.
Nah, I don't
Gonna be
know.
on
who
Sound
that
and
is.
Fury.
Sound of dude, I would love to play Sound and Fury.
Me too, man.
Just once. Don't care.
Now you have to say it.
Wait, you genuinely don't know this story?
No, I don't.
So, Creative Void has played Sound and Fury.
Oh, okay.
I have not.
Oh,
No, Bragging
Bragging
Rights has
Rights.
never played Sound and Fury, but Mike has.
But I have.
Because he filled in for me while I was
how
on Warped Tour.
serendipitous.
I was on Warped Tour. Jake and I both were on Warped Tour. And who played bass? Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick played bass. Mike filled in on vocals. And we were in Detroit or something like that at the time, just sitting there going like, man, our band is playing probably one of the biggest shows.
So, okay, I don't mean to, fucking keep stabbing at the wound, but what year was it that this was Sound and Fury?
2010.
So who
Santa
played?
Barbara.
Oh, at the Earl Warren Showgrounds where it used to be the OG one. Who played?
That year.
Was that like Tearing Down to Nothing was that year?
I think Taryn, let me see.
Is that the one that the Ghost Inside played and everyone was like, boo? I think I remember
It
one
was the
they
year
played.
when somebody brought a motorcycle into the pit and was doing donuts
Yes.
and burnouts in the pit. Yeah.
I think that was the year Trash Talk played. Because
Let's
then I
see.
think they had to move that out and they played out of a fucking back of a U-Haul. It might have been a different year.
Remember
but
what,
I'm
I
pretty sure it was
just
that.
remember. I'm pretty sure Minority Unit played, and that was the first time I realized that there was like a bazillion speakers in that band.
This was the lineup. 50 Lions, Oz Fleeting, Alpha and Omega,
50 Lions.
Backtrack, Bane,
Yeah.
Bear Trap, Bitter End, Brace War, Cold World, Creative Void, Creatures,
Creatures.
Daylight, Dead End Path, Deadhead, Donnybrook, Down to Nothing, Downpresser,
Yep.
Earth Crisis,
Yeah. What a
Expire,
R.I.P.
Foundation played.
Foundation, yeah.
Fuck.
Foundation just played a reunion at FYA this year.
Hard Sounds played.
I think that was when I basically was just like, oh, I think David Down Nothing is like my favorite frontman.
Oh, dude, he's so good. And then he played bass for Terror for a little bit. Now the singer Cruel Hand plays bass for Terror.
Yeah.
Whatever fucking happened to Cruel Hand? Are they just not a band anymore because of that? Or
I don't know.
They kind of like
honestly.
We played with Cruel Hand a few years ago.
really.
Yeah.
Where at?
In Northern California, at that Creative Void,
In,
Torture Culture's first show was that festival,
Oh no shit.
Northern Alliance.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then
That's
we
cool.
played with Cruel Hand headline that night,
That's
or
fucking
Cruel Hand and Lionheart both played that night. So
Dude, have you guys ever checked out that band 50 Lions you mentioned?
yeah, yeah, they fucking rip.
Ozzy has some of the best shit in any genre, like literally ever.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of a band called Miles Away?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
Dude, I saw Miles Away in Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Nice,
'Cause it was,
nice.
I was out there, and I think it was them and Bane were on
Yeah,
the run.
I saw that tour at Chain. It was Bane, Rotting Out, Miles Away, I think, and Defeater
Yeah.
as well. So that,
Defeater was so good,
dude, and back then, that was when they were blowing up fat.
Dude.
That's another band that I used to hate.
What's the
and then,
Defeater
like,
song that has the little soapbox like snippet in the middle?
Soapbox snippet.
Or it sounds like he's just like singing on like a soapbox in
I
like
don't know.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
It's
talking
been a
about?
minute, dude. It's been a minute since I've listened to Defeater.
Defeater was, yeah.
Oh, dude, I remember saying, because like they were. It took me a minute to warm up to them, but
Yeah.
once Martin basically like that was all he played on
Yeah.
on a tour. And then I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And then Jay, I don't even know how, reached out. Was like, I want to do you guys' next album, and we were so stoked. And then I think we finally got the message back from Will Putney. So we're like, oh fuck. We're like,
Yeah.
Punny did NBR stuff.
yeah, he put out our last full length.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucking awesome.
Did you guys go to the Haunted studio? His old studio?
I think so. Yeah,
That guy's like as an audio engineer, I look up to that guy big time.
Yeah.
dude, I've said it several times. It was like going to school. It
Dude.
was like most have learned. In
Yeah.
like a session.
Yeah.
Everything he said, I was just like, oh, I've never done that before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I went to audio engineering school, he had this like program on Nail the Mix called like How It's Done with Will Putney, and it was like a $300 thing. You get it forever, but like you got to see his whole entire process for doing this one Die Artist Murder song from like start to finish, like miking up drums, miking up guitar amps, recording the actual song itself, and a whole ass mix and master, like all this shit. And I was like, I was so locked into that shit, dude. So, I mean, that guy's like, and literally like when I was in audio engineering school, we had to do for the last like a final project, we had to do like a presentation in front of the class. And so I did like a documentary style, like on any subject in audio that you wanted. So I just picked like audio engineers that I really looked up to, and Will Putney was one of them. So I fucking went on like a 5-minute this is what he's done, and like this is what he does, and like in his like sessions, this is the types of microphones he uses. This is his microphone techniques for doing overheads and stuff like that. So it's like I love that guy's the shit in my opinion.
When I was in audio school, our final was you had a project, which was you had to record either a band or an artist, whatever it is, and then turn in your final mix and essentially show them all of the work that you did. Right?
Okay.
And then the second part of it was a practical exam where they had an SSL.
Which one?
I forget which one. One of
4K?
the huge ones.
4K probably.
And what they would do is that it was your job to go in and set up a session with a band.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you go in, mic it, do whatever. And then you set everything up, you leave the room, they fuck up your entire patch bay, they fuck everything up.
No way.
And you have to go back in and figure out
I
what's
hate
wrong
that.
on your signal channel.
Fuck all that noise,
So
dude.
you have to go in and you have to figure out like, okay, why is this kick drum going into like it's being sent into
so just troubleshooting the whole thing.
And you're basically on a timer. And so you had to go in there and like they weren't like completely assholes to us. Like it wasn't like but they would like reroute your
Complete
patch
sabotage,
cables and like kind
that
of move
sucks,
microphones and stuff.
dude.
And then you had like to explain what you did and then correct it and then show that you were ready to record.
We had those at my school too. We call my school called them sink or swims. So like my school basically it was, I don't know what your school schedule was like, but for mine it was Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day. So in the later portions, once you've like learned like certain aspects of like the console that you're using and like patch bays and all that type of stuff and like signal flow and all that stuff, we would have like an artist would come in and we would treat them as if there were actual professional paid recording sessions, and you are the head engineer, assistant engineer, you're setting up the patch bay, micing up whatever it is you're doing. And our instructor was like, he just oversaw the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and they never sabotaged anything because they didn't, doing that. I mean, we would have days that were not those where we would do that and be like, why is this happening and all that type of shit. Right. But it was just for like to practice on like troubleshooting.
Right.
But, and then, so it would just always be like, okay, you have 1 hour to set up this drum kit, mic it with this overhead miking technique. I want the room mics like this. I want the chords on the bottom to look like this, and blah 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 blah. You're going to use these mics on this shell of the drums and all that type of shit. And then you would have to do it within like an hour and a half, or however long it was. And then if you didn't, you failed.
Yep.
Yeah. You didn't fail the class. You just failed. That portion of it. Yeah.
Yeah. For us, it was like we had because the studio or the school itself had like 7 different studios,
Yeah.
right, that you go in and work in. And then there was also like little rooms where you could just mix, and then there was
Yeah.
also little rooms where, because they taught you electronics too, so like soldering, making your own mic cables,
Oh, okay,
making
yeah,
your own instrument
sure.
cables, things
Yeah,
like that.
we learned that too.
And so what you would do is like you essentially we had our classes, my sessions were at night. So it was like from like 4 to 7 or something like that were classes. But then the rest of the days, you just book studios that you want to work in. And you could bring your own artists in, or like if your friends were like people in your class were artists also, like you just record them.
That's pretty cool.
And so we would just like, I would always book like late night sessions.
Yeah,
I'd be there until like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And just,
Oh yeah.
you know, doing whatever. And and that was back when like Pro Tools was like, we don't fuck with anybody else. You have to have our shit in order to run Pro Tools.
Yeah, you
We're
had
not going to use any other interfaces.
The interface and all that.
Yeah, this was so like we got M boxes when we enrolled, because that was the only thing that was going to work with Pro Tools at the time.
Right.
And so they had an icon, which was Pro Tools is basically huge like console, right? And we would just basically just get high and go in there and record music and put it on fuck, what is it called? Oh, there's a certain mode that you like. It's almost like a cheat code. You push the buttons and then all the faders and everything start like dancing on the board.
That's kind of cool.
I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But you could just like hit this thing and then the faders would all start moving up and
fun.
down, and then like all the lights would start going crazy. We're just sitting there like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I wish that my school kind of did. I mean, like, so like you technically could like, so at my school, I don't know how you guys did it at your school, but at the school that I went to, we did what were called cycles. So it's like a 3-week block of like a specific portion of audio. So like cycle 1 was like introductory stuff like electronics and like, you know, like kind of just like a signal flow, like just like how a mic, like sound travels from your voice to a microphone through cords and shit interface, and how it's where it comes and how like it comes out of monitors, like how it does it. And so basically like introductory level stuff. Then like, you know, we learned like one SSL console for another 6 weeks, and then like we went into the API legacy console, and then we did then after that was Pro Tools. We did it for another 6 weeks, learning Pro Tools, the introduction of Pro Tools. But also in congruency to that, we were also learning about MIDI and Logic and like oh my god, what's that shit?
Reaper?
Huh?
Reaper?
We did later on, but like no one fucking ever used it. Like it was literally like, here, you can download this, but like it fucking sucks. Like
Our guitar player loves Reaper.
Take that right.
I think
I fucking hate Reaper. I hate it.
I think is it Reaper or Ableton that you can like always say you're just like trying it out still, and you like
It's Reaper.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you never have to like really pay for it.
Yeah,
or
mine
whatever the
says you're on day like 385 of your trial period. Would you like to? And I'm like, still evaluating.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. Yeah. So like, and the cool thing about where I went to school, it's called the Conservatory of Recording Arts, in Arizona. Like, with the tuition, we got a brand new 2024 MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
A new interface, new warm audio, what was it? Warm audio 47 Junior.
Okay.
Then we got a brand new pair of studio headphones, Pro Tools 3 years free,
Sick.
and Logic Pro X for
Nice.
absolutely free.
That's
and
sick.
Logic has been my DAW of choice
Same.
for like the last like fucking 12 years. So it's like brand new. Like I'm not fucking
I have used Logic since I went to school in 2007, and I never switched. I only use Pro Tools if I have like job specific things that I need to do.
Exactly.
Like I had to use Pro Tools because I was working on a show with Discovery Channel and Ryan.
Yeah.
And so that I had to use Pro Tools.
Yeah, most professional like post production or professional music studio, if you actually are in a studio, they're using Pro Tools.
Yeah.
It's the industry standard for a reason. Yeah, no, I don't like it at all. It's too fucking much. Like, there's really Why
Yeah.
is it that when you open a session in Pro Tools, why is there no master channel? Why do you have to make a click track? Why do you have to press a button to make a click track?
Because that's
That
what
shit-
they've always done, man.
It's fucking stupid. It's
ridiculous.
Logic has everything you need right then and there. And their stock plugins are incredible. But then again, so are Pro Tools. Their stock plugins are fucking great. So he's so bored right now. He's probably
Well, I
like,
was just thinking, Will Putney was the first person that we met that did Logic.
Yeah. And what's crazy about him, I don't know about now, is that he uses Logic 9, which is like really, really old.
Yeah.
And he's like recorded a different shade of blue on it. He's done all Die Artist Murder stuff on it. I'm like, it's 2020 what year and you're still fucking using that?
10's been out for a long time now.
Exactly. But you know, when you upgrade shit, like it's a lot of fucking work to like get all your old sessions back and to re-download all your plugins. It's so beyond annoying.
I've heard that some of those guys are still even using like Pod Farm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was literally just talking to somebody that used to go to my school that says that he still uses it because it's like, here's my whole thing is this: if something sounds good to you, why get rid of it or why not use it anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
If you've mastered it.
exactly. If you know what something sounds like, you're obviously going to use it. Like these microphones sound good no matter what. No matter what it is you're doing. Voiceover, screaming, singing, everything is going to sound good.
Yeah.
Like you don't need anything else. But people buy these $15,000 mics, which do serve a purpose. Yeah. But it's like, well, I mean,
I feel like for what we do,
but
for what we do, this is like the gold staple.
the gold standard, yeah.
But like, you know, I remember one of my teachers telling me he was like sitting in on a session with Barbara Streisand.
Oh yeah.
And she has like, of course, like a golden, you know,
I
whatever mic. And
As
then
she should.
As she should.
she should, yeah.
But also what they told me about her was that she walks in, she does one take of the song, and she fucking walks out, and you get what you get. And
Boss.
she rips it.
Boss.
They were
I
like,
mean,
it was like the most professional shit I've ever seen. Like this golden mic is glowing, and she walks in.
yeah,
things
fucking, of course she is.
Yeah.
God, that
An era of like just no auto tune. The era being like classically trained, knowing
Yeah, man.
exactly what you're doing before you do it.
Yeah.
Like no guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
What's
all
cr-
the time.
Always.
Oh,
Go back. I fucked that up. Go back.
yeah.
And it's
But
just
the-
me talking to myself.
And what's I've always like people always say like if you could go back in time, like where would you want to go? At least now since I've been to audio engineering school, my answer to that is I want to go back to like when, and I know that this is like not the biggest deal in the world, but like when Blink 182 recorded Enema of the State, I would love to be in the room with Jerry Finn and him recording that record, or when AFI did Sing the Sorrow, or like when fucking like, I don't know, like Third Eye Blind was doing Semi-Charmed Life or some shit. I'm like, I want to be in the room when they're writing those songs, not even just recording them, writing them.
You want to see those aha moments where you're like, oh, fuck, that's
like
it.
when Lit wrote My Own Worst Enemy. Like, did
Yeah.
they know that song was going to be a hit? Like, did they know, like, did fucking, you know what I mean? Like that, like when the Backstreet Boys were in the studio, what was that like? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's just like, and back then too, there was no auto tune. There was no fucking going back and being like, can I hear that again? No,
Yeah.
if you fucked it up, you had to rewind the tape and start over from scratch.
Dude, and then editing that tape after,
No
too.
way.
Scissors and tape.
I mean, I don't know about you, but we still had analog tape machines at my school like last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they taught us how to thread the tape and everything and
Yeah.
how to use it and how to clean it and, you know, calibrate it and all that shit. And I'm like, even though I'm never going to fucking use an MCR 90 ever,
It's cool.
it's still
Yeah.
cool to like, and I think it was like Jack White is like one of the only artists right now that still records to tape. And I think Foo Fighters does too. I believe.
I don't know about the Foo Fighters thing. I've heard that about Jack White.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Jack White fan, though.
Well, I'm not either, but it
Yeah.
still is like, that's still cool that like he
Yeah.
does it like the old school
Yeah.
way still. Cause like, you know, I mean, I don't know, like, you know, when NBR's recorded stuff, like, yeah, you guys record analog in the sense of like you're mic'd up, like you're not recording into an amp sim, it's not programmed drums, it's all real stuff. You're tracking that shit, but he's recording into a digital DAW, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But still using his analog EQs and compressors and multi-band compressors and mastering chains and shit like that shit. I'm like, I want to be there so badly.
I realized at some point in time, I think I was looking at the price of some compressor. I don't even know which one it was. And I was like, oh, there's no fucking way.
No
I'm going to be a
fucking way
digital
at
guy
all.
for the rest of my life. Because
Dude,
this is like...
one analog compressor, probably one 1176 is like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like fucking, I can't even fathom.
Yeah.
Like Chris Lord Algae, how much money that dude spent to build his fucking studio.
Dude, it's just something that like my brain can't even grasp, like spending
No way.
that much money on a studio.
Yeah.
And then being like, all right, cool. Now, hopefully people want to record with
But
me.
the best thing about it is, though, is that all of those plugins that emulate all the analog plugins sound just as good,
Yeah.
if not better. A lot of people who are in the analog world who were like older heads in my school that taught were like, yeah, Waves plugins fucking ripped.
Yeah.
Like, you guys should get FabFilter Pro Q3. It's the best one on the market. I'm like, yeah. So it's like, at least they're getting with the times and realizing that, like, yes, while analog consoles and analog everything is pure tone and that's the way you want to go, if you have a way to just do it in the box, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Because as well, like, and I'm not sure if this is, time is money, right?
Yeah.
Time is fucking money. The faster you pump mixes out for your clients, the more you get.
100%.
And it's just like, it sounds fucking good. Just press the analog button on the plugin. It's fine. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Do like
A little bit of saturation, you're fine.
the SSL, consoles, and then now like the little, even the desktop interface now,
Right.
has that SSL 4K legacy button.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just hit it and you get that analog
You get
sound.
that. You get the little.
Yeah.
You get a little bit. Get a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the thing with when you use Pro Tools, they have the heat selection. That's the same thing. You hear a little, like just a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
How you feeling over there,
Are
Mike?
you bored?
I'm just learning.
No. Hey, that's all good.
learning.
We're all trying to learn.
Oh man. All right, so let's. Okay, I do want to kind of rewind.
Yeah.
What was
Wait,
it that?
Let me pause real quick. I have to pee real bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know. I know. He was feeling himself the other day.
Felt cute. Might delete later.
Oh gosh.
I think one of the things that I'm kind of thankful for, because I feel like I would have probably been a wreck going into it, was not fully understanding like who Will Putney was,
Right.
And, like his process and everything.
Yeah.
All we knew was that he had just done like one of the Straight from the Path albums that we were like, dude, this sounds sick. The drums sound awesome. And then like showing up and then like not realizing like a week before he had Body Count. So he had Ice-T.
Dude, yeah. You won a Grammy for that Body Count record.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Straight up.
yeah.
You did.
He left one of our sessions because he was like, dude, guys, I normally am like, I don't do this. Like, I know we're supposed to be recording today. He's like, I just got a phone call that Body Count's playing Jimmy Kimmel and they want me to do the sound.
Yeah.
We're like,
Here's something.
loud.
Here's something that I learned about Will Putney in context with that Ice-T record. Ice-T says that Will Putney is the Dr. Dre of metal producers. Isn't that, dude? If
That's-
someone said that about me, I'd be like,
That's it.
I'm good.
That's it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so sick.
Exactly.
that makes me feel fucking cool.
Right?
Dude, the fact that
You work with the Dr. Dre of metal, bro. You did.
and I think Will Putney has even gone on to say, like in later interviews and stuff, that like bands come to him, and if they come to him and say like, I want to sound like this band, I want to sound like this band, he just shuts it down.
He's like, no, yeah.
There's already that band. Why don't you just do your own thing,
Dude.
So
Every single time he comes out with a new record, no matter what band it is, just keeps getting better. That new Kublai Khan record, unbelievable. Even the newest Counterparts EP, that shit sounds unreal.
Yeah.
It sounds like End. Like the way the mix sounds like End. I'm like, but this is melodic hardcore and it sounds out of this fucking world heavy. Like,
have you
know?
have you heard him talk about how End started?
Who, Will Putney?
Yeah.
No.
Like from his perspective?
No.
Is that Brendan from Counterparts was like, hey, I'm trying out this new Scream. Do you want to like, let's do some stuff just so we can test it out?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, cool. And so they had tested it out, and he's like, this should be a new band. And they're like, well, you want to start a new band with me? And they're like, okay. And that was.
Have you ever seen End play before?
No.
Oh,
no.
bro. I saw them play with 18 Visions and oh my God, it was for 18 Visions and I forgot who else, but Wrist Meet Razor.
Okay.
And bro.
I've seen
They are so
videos
good
of them,
live.
but never actually been there and seen them live. But they
rip. They fucking rip, dude. They're so good. Like obviously the recordings make them sound more sludgier than they do, but live, unbelievable. They're so heavy. And Brendan is still the like, you guys are pissing me off.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Like, I saw them. Have you ever been to the Garden Grove Amphitheater? Mm-hmm. So that's where I saw them play at.
Okay.
And legitimately, there were people sitting down during their set, and Brendan was like, "You guys are really sitting?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this, dude?"
Dude, I love that he just likes to just push as many buttons as possible.
Dude, he loves it.
Amazing.
When I saw them do the headliner for the last full length album that they did, it was like with them, See You Space Cowboy, Dying Wish, and Foreign Hands. Like every set or every song in between was like, "You guys are pissing me off. You guys suck. You guys can do better. I'm gonna quit this fucking band." Like, and some people like who don't know his humor are like, "Why is he always saying that? It's pissing me off." I'm like, he's just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he needs to be. And I'm like, nah, he's just fucking around, dude.
Like,
This
if
is
this
how he is.
If this makes you mad, you should follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, you should follow him on Twitter. For real. Why is he singing about his cat so much?
Yeah.
Because he loved his fucking cat? What do you think? I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know. But I think, honestly, like, when it comes to, this like revival of like that old school like 2000s metalcore sound, that Putney captures it
Yeah.
the best, because I think he recorded Dying Wish, Chamber, I can't remember exactly who else he's done, but like, you know, Kublai Khan obviously, and like Stray, and I'm just like,
Knock Loose.
oh yeah, Knock Loose, exactly. Duh. Like, but like, yeah, every single one of those bands that goes to him that is doing that revival sound, I'm just like, oh my God, like, come on, dude. Like,
Better Lovers too, right?
yes.
Better
Yeah.
Lovers,
And E-Tid, you know, like back when they were still doing shit. But yeah, man, like, I just love that in general, that sound is coming back, and I'm like,
Yes.
keep it coming, please. Keep it coming.
Been waiting.
Dude, but what also makes me feel super old is like fucking like Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine are playing Ascendancy and The Poison from front to back. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is it really been 20 fucking years since both those albums came out? Oh my God, I was 17 when I was first listening to them, a junior in high school with like fucking a faux hawk, and I was just like, 4 words to choke up on. I'm just like, yeah. Oh my God, and I'm still 37 being like, 4 words to choke up on, you know what I mean?
It's still good.
It's still good. It's still fucking so good, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And I just love that all the young, like, dude, forgive me if I get this wrong, but I believe Jake, his son, is in that band Amulet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you listened to them before?
They rip, dude.
They are so
They
good.
rip, dude.
And like all these other bands like Reverent and like In Which Divides Us and shit like that. I'm like, I feel like I'm back in 2004 again.
All these kids are shredding now, and they're like, and they're in that perfect era of like, I can get all the kids at my school to come out to these
And not
shows.
only, yes, there's that, but they have like shitty spiked hair, snake bites,
Baggy
like,
pants,
baggy
dude.
pants. They look like they were like the old school mall goth kids. When,
Yeah, dude.
That like when that shit was around, you were like, you got fucking swirlies at high school for dressing like that and shit.
Yep.
Now it's like these kids are just like, I'm playing extremely slow, dissonant breakdowns like how Underneath the Gun did back then. Yes. And all of us are like,
Yeah.
where are we? You know?
Where did you buy your Jinkos?
Where did you learn this?
Right. No, dude. So Destruction of a King, in November, we did like a little 3-day run with this band called Reminiscence. We played at BBZ with you guys. But at the dates that we did after that, we played in San Diego and in Vegas. Dude, I swear these new like young kids, like these TikTok kids, they fucking throw down.
They mosh hard.
They mosh hard.
Yeah.
And not only that, it does not matter what you sound like. It does not matter like what you look like as a band. They will mosh for you. As long as if you have a dum 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 ka dum dum dum
Yep.
and a dum 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 dum, they're moshing. And they're moshing like how we used to when we were kids. Or
Yeah.
like when we were younger, going to fucking Showcase. Yes, I've been to the Showcase Theater, R.I.P. But back then, that's what those kids are doing now. They just are standing in the middle doing windmills and spin kicks and shit like we used to. Like how we used to parking lot mosh. That's what
Yeah.
they do. And I'm like, this is incredible. And it's everybody says, oh, millennials are so cringe. We're so cringe. Yeah, well, then why do you keep jocking our fucking style? You know what
Why
I
do
mean?
you look like we used to?
Why do you look like we used to, yet you won't get made fun of for it?
Yeah.
We fucking walked so you could run. Little bitches. Serious shit, dude.
Oh, episode title. Nailed it.
Hey, fucking if it works, you know?
Oh man. So okay,
Yeah.
real quick before we get into questions,
Yeah.
I want to go through like a brief history. So you, what was it that got you into playing music? And was it guitar? Was it bass? Was it like, what was it that was like, all right, fuck yeah.
I
I'm
will
gonna
tell
do
you this, and you guys probably won't believe this, and neither will any of your listeners, but the first time I had any interest in music was I watched the Disney Philharmonic Orchestra on the Disney Channel.
Okay.
And I looked at the violin, and I'm like,
Fuck yeah.
maybe.
Dude, I played
You're
violin as a
not
kid.
even Filipino.
I played violin as a kid.
No. Sorry. No, but that was actually the first, that seems fun.
Right.
So then, I told my parents I want to play the violin, and they were like, okay. So we went to the local music store. We rented a violin at the time because they're like, well, you're going to take lessons. And I was like, cool, I'm going to take lessons. So I took lessons for a couple years. And then this is probably when I was like 9 years old, at least. And then my elementary school at the time, started an orchestra. And I was in fourth grade at the time. I was 10 years old. I had been in lessons for about a year and a half, and I wanted to try out for it. And they were like, okay, whatever. I wasn't good enough, so I kept doing lessons. And then I tried out for in fifth grade and got immediately bumped up to first chair, which is like the best chair to sit in. And so, and then all my classmates who had done it the year before, who were in second year, were like, what the fuck? Why does he get to? And I'm just like, ha ha, you know what I mean? But so that was like my first real, that was like what wanted me to start playing music, was just watching that orchestra. Because they were playing in Walt Disney World in like a summertime thing right in front of Epcot. And all the fucking fountains were going off.
Fireworks
I'm like,
and
that's
shit.
cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to... I was like, that really got me inspired to do that. And like, dude, I used to be able to read sheet music and play along. Well, I mean, I still can play along to a metronome, but like I could read sheet music and fucking play any fucking thing you could ever think
I'm
of.
clueless now.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Can't do it now. And then I was living in Washington State at the time. And then I moved back here to California in 2000. And the last year of elementary school in Washington is sixth grade. So I moved down here in seventh grade. So I was already in my first year of middle school, technically second year of middle school. And I was like, oh, California, huh? I'm not going to play orchestra when I move to California, because I was like, I'm going to learn how to surf or skateboard because I want to be cool.
Right.
This is a fresh start. I got bullied relentlessly in elementary school for all the shit that I did. So I was like, when I move back to California, I'm not going to have that shit happen. I'm going to be the cool kid in California. Still didn't happen. So even though I quit playing orchestra because I was like, at least I don't know if this was a thing when you guys were in that.
Fucking nerds.
Well, they were like, "Oh, you're in orchestra." I was like, I'm not gonna be associated with that. So I didn't do it. And then I took up skateboarding and BMXing and all that type of shit. And then I got into high school and I was like, fuck sports, fuck all that shit. I stopped playing sports. And then my uncle, Pat, he is a musician. He and my aunt actually got me like a baby guitar when I was like 4 years old. Mm-hmm. But I just always had it in the corner of my room. I never knew how to play it, so I never played it. But then my uncle came over and he like taught me basic chords and all that type of stuff. So I just I showed interest. But then a friend of mine, my lifelong friend, his name is Mitch, was like, what you would do really well is play bass. I was like, oh, what's that? Mark Hoppus from Blink-182 plays it. Check him out. And I go, well, I know who he is.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what bass guitar was. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's cool. Like, listen to these bands, listen to like the low end. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I would listen to bands like Real Big Fish, Anti-Flag,
Sick.
the Vandals, and like all these punk bands. Rancid, it was a big one, no doubt. I was like, oh my god, they're like,
Rancid and Anti-Flag.
Legitimately, Maxwell Murder has a bass solo that is harder to play than any guitar solo I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's insane. So
Dude, and I'll never forget hearing that. You gotta die for your government.
Yeah.
That's the first time I was like, oh, this is fucking sick.
the first song I heard by Anti-Flag that really got me into like intricate bass lines was the song called Angry, Young, and Poor.
Yeah, dude.
That dude, and it's like, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing, bro? And so I just got I told my parents that I was interested in that. They, again, same thing, rented me a bass, and then eventually bought me my own one. And then I had a friend named Nick who moved from Diamond Bar to my neighborhood. He knew how to play guitar. And so he taught me power chords, and he taught me how to play Stairway to Heaven.
Of course.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's fucking crazy.
Wait, as long as you're not on Guitar Center, it's okay.
No, not in Guitar Center, God forbid. So then, that was just like, and then I just would go on Ultimate Guitar tabs every single day, wanting to learn a song that I love to listen to. I would like burn CDs of like songs I wanted to learn how to play and shit like that. And I would be in my room for what, 3 or 4 hours a day, just fucking shredding away. Then I saw a picture of Avenged Sevenfold, and I go, who is that? And I was probably a sophomore in high school at this point. So this was like 2003, 2004. A friend of mine, Mike Rodriguez, if you're watching this, hi. He had Avenged Sevenfold, and it was the iconic picture of Shadows like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks scary. Probably never going to listen to them. And he's like, no, it's Avenged Sevenfold. They're pretty cool. And I was like, oh, what did they sound like? And it's like, and he couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's like, it's like creepy, haunted, but like cool. And I'm like, that does not help.
Yep.
And like at that point in time in my life, I was like 14, 15. I was listening to emo music, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But what would be considered more like screamo, like Silverstein, Census Fail, all that type of shit. Fall Out Boy, My Chem,
Same.
all that.
Yeah.
But I was also listening to bands like Mudvayne, Disturbed, Limp Bizkit, Korn, all those bands.
Yeah.
So I was used to like heavy stuff at that point, right? But that was like popular on the radio.
Yeah.
But like Avenged Sevenfold, they were like, oh, that stuff, it's called hardcore. And I was like, hardcore? Oh, I don't know if I could handle that. Yeah. And then so I went on. My friend Mike, he was the guy. He was the burn CD plug.
Yeah.
Essentially. So anytime you wanted shit downloaded off of LimeWire or Kazaa or whatever, he would just be like, $5, get you a mixtape or whatever the fuck, right? So he was like, here, I burned the Avenged Sevenfold CD, Waking the Fallen. Check this out. And I fucking hear, and my brain.
That was like such a game changer for so many people.
And then I was like,
me included.
I'm not going to lie, horrified. I was so scared listening to it. Because like Shadows is like, vocal range, like screaming wise, was nothing that I ever heard before.
Right.
But I'm like, but he's also singing. But like the breakdowns that they were playing, like again, I was listening to like Thrice and stuff, and
Yeah.
so I was used to like Jun-Jun-ish breakdowns because like the Illusion of Safety had a lot of those, and so I was like, but like the way that it was structured and like how long their songs were with like all the fucking like I would call them like the grasshopper riffs, like dun, 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 like that's what I would call them. I'm like, this is just so out of like what I'm used to. So I was just like, I was scared of it. And then MySpace became a thing. And then you listen to bands on all the top 8s of all your favorite bands. So I went on Avenged Sevenfold, and then I see the profile picture for Atreyu, and I was like, whoa, who's that?
And that era of Atreyu was awesome.
Lord have mercy.
Mike's
Still.
favorite screamer.
We don't have to.
Oh man, I wish Alex was still in that band.
We don't have to go into it, but I saw it was Avenged Sevenfold headlining at Showcase, and it was Avenged Sevenfold.
Fuck yourself, dude. Sorry.
Atreyu was rec support, and Hopes Fall.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah, then like, you know, that was like when I got my first guitar, it was this really, really shitty Ibanez, like $250 one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what's drop C?
Yeah.
And so I would just, you know, drop tune my guitar and just learn every 5, 7, 8 riff that I could possibly get my hands on. Then I listened to As I Lay Dying, and I'm like, this makes me want to play metalcore. Like hearing 94 Hours the first time with that double bass part, I was like, what
Game
the
changer.
fuck?
Also, still underrated, but I still think the Elegy breakdown is one of the best of all time.
Which one? You know? That whole song, when I first learned how to play it, it took me like, so fucking long. Like, I don't know. Do you play instruments like guitar and stuff? Like, I know you guys. Okay, so like, has there ever been a song that you like tried to learn that's like, oh, since I know I can play this song, I can play anything now? Is there a song like that?
Everything that Ryan writes. There've been like I think a couple As I Lay Dying songs early on that I tried to learn that I was like, if I can just get here, it'll be sick.
Because for me, it was that part in 94 Hours down. I'm like, if I can play that, I can play fucking anything.
Yeah.
And then I learned how to play Lay to Rest by Lamb of God. And I'm like, now I can play anything. I can't play it now. That shit hurts my wrist. But yeah. Basically, just, you know, the Disney Orchestra sparked that musical fire under me. I've always been like an artist, though. Like, I love to draw and stuff when I was a kid. So, like, I thought that's what I was going to do, like, as like a, what do you want to be when you grow up? I thought I was going to do that. But then music came into my life, and I'm like, that's it.
So you know you've never drawn any of like the record covers?
No.
You should, man.
Nah. I haven't drawn anything freehand in 30 years at least. It's been a long time, yeah, for sure.
I too thought I was going to be an artist, and that was killed when I was like 6 years old, so...
Yeah, and like, actually, that's a lie. I didn't like the last time I like drew something freehand was for my art class in 8th grade, and like it's so funny because it was like, one was we're gonna do portraits, and one portrait you had to draw by freehand with just like pencil, right? And so I did. I forgot who I drew, but then there was this one where it was like, okay, we're gonna do one with ink and an eraser from a pen, and you just go. In whatever, right? You would just do different shades of black. Yeah. And I drew Mark Hoppus in fucking ink blots from a pencil from the take off your pants and jacket sleeve with his fucking huge mohawk and the glasses and shit. So I was just like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, and then ever since, like, you know, just literally every day I was in my room just like playing guitar or bass guitar for hours and hours and hours on end. Yeah. And my parents will tell you this. They used to hate it. And my sister's room was 10 feet away down the hallway. She's like, I used to fucking hate when you would play your guitar. And then after a while, she was like, it's peaceful.
Yep.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's pretty much my musical upbringing, yeah.
Well, let's jump into you got quite a few questions.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh God.
My because I was the same when I first started like getting into music and got a guitar. My amp had the little headphone you could plug in.
Yes.
And that like changed, like probably saved the relationship between me and my family.
Yeah. I had that too. I would use it from time to time, but I like to play along with, like, I wanted to be able to hear it. So I would have my headphones in, and I would try to turn my guitar amp up loud enough to where I could still hear
both.
Hear both. And my parents would be like, "Stop it!" But yeah, again, after a while, they were like, "Nah, it's fine." Yeah. And sometimes I would play till like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'd be like, "Yeah, no, it put us to sleep. It was kind of nice." Yeah. And again, I'm playing things like "It Dies Today," like just like dun, 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 dun. Like they're like, what? I remember, we'll get to the question, but I remember this one time I was playing that It Dies Today record, The Kite of Choir. Do you know that one?
This is a call to
Yeah. So I was playing that song.
Hell yeah.
And the breakdown part right after the first chorus. I remember my dad walking by my room, staring into he was through the threshold of the door being like, who the fuck are you listening to? And I'm like, Dad, it's a Die Today. Isn't that cool? And he's like, no, this is terrible. This is what you listen to all the time? I'm like, not all the time, but yeah. It's like, no wonder you're fucking failing out of high school.
You don't get it, Dad.
Yeah.
It's not a phase, Mom, okay? Clearly, it's not a phase, okay?
We're still here, Mom. We're still here.
Dude, one of the worst things that happened to me was like going to detention because like detention was supposed to be meant for you to like catch up on homework for us at our school. Not me, dude. Lyric time. That
Lyric
was like
time, hell yeah.
focus. There's less people around. I can.
That's what's up, dude.
I look like, and I was like super focused. So my teachers always left me alone.
Yeah.
But I'm there writing like, you know, should I hate
I love
it?
that.
Please don't.
Sad thing is, I came after high school.
Oh.
My high school stuff was like,
Yeah.
just everything I was angry about the perfect life I had.
Right.
Really wish the Angels would win.
That. All right, this is from Iron Rule.
Oh, gosh.
Any tips to look as handsome as you do on stage?
Well, thank you.
Like 80% of the questions are
Yeah.
just about how handsome Billy is.
I hope they're not. I have no tips. It's trial and error. Honestly, I don't. It's dude. I wear the same fucking clothes all the time. I literally have like 5 pairs of black jeans, 5 black shirts, like a bunch of crew necks. I just it's the same shit. I just wear the same shit, and then
Minimalist, man.
I am a minimalist, bro. And everyone's like, just get a different outfit. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care enough to pick an outfit. But if he's gonna talk about my hair, that's I hate my hair.
Really?
What?
Here's what I mean by that. Because my hair is really thick and it takes fucking forever to style. Legitimately took me almost 45 minutes to get this to stay where it needs to stay.
Well, it looks good.
Well, it looks
Thank you.
good, dude.
It looks good.
But no tips. I don't have any. I'm like, does this look good? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what the world thinks. Well, thank you, Iron Rule, whoever said that. Probably Maddie.
What product do you use?
Suavecito, firm hold. I've actually used different. I've used different pomades. But the most I've stuck with is Suavecito firm hold. Again, because of how thick my hair is and
Yeah.
shit like that. I've done like blow dry styling before. That
First time. Who has that time?
nobody fucking has the time. I used to do that for my everyday. It took fucking forever, and it never stayed the way I wanted it to. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna go back to the pomade. I also used to use Layrite pomade, the medium hold. That one works pretty good too. But if you're looking for a pomade that fucking Suavecito firm hold
firme.
pomade, that's gonna be the one.
The only time I started to kind of do the blow drying was during the pandemic when
Yeah,
I had nothing but time.
yeah, for real.
All right, here we go. Ty. Ty says, "Are you taking requests for vocal covers? I'd like to request By Myself by Linkin Park."
Like me doing one?
Yeah.
I don't know that song. I don't think. Oh wait, is that's the one off Hybrid Theory, right? Da-dun, 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 da-dun. I don't know. Sure.
Heard it here first.
Challenge
Yeah.
accepted.
Challenge accepted. If I have to do the whole thing, I don't know. Maybe I don't like rapping because it's rapping. I think my voice sounds stupid when I rap.
I'll come in and rap the verses for you.
Hey, all right, there we go. That works.
Mike Shinoda, dog.
Dude.
Hey, that's man.
Ty also asks, "Do you have a favorite guitar?"
Yes, the one I play right now, the LTD EC1000 Deluxe. That is a tried and true, no questions asked. I've had other guitars before. I had an Epiphone Les Paul, but I was playing pop punk at the time, so that's a good one for pop punk. But for anything heavy, because I strictly just play metal and hardcore live, but that's the one that I've never not played. It's the only guitar I have that I use all the time. I do have an Ibanez 7-string. I never really play it though, just because like at one point in time I was filling in for that band Mother Sound when they were a thing, and they were playing in like drop G sharp or some shit, so I used it for that. But that was for like a small portion of time. But now it's either the EC1000 or nothing at all. I will never not play that guitar.
Destruction plays in drop
C. Yeah. And the thing is with that, I use a drop tune pedal.
Okay.
I use the Digitech drop pedal. So that like I have my guitar in drop D or just E standard.
E standard.
And I just drop tune it to drop D, hit a button and drop C or whatever tune. And it sounds fucking great. Like it doesn't make your sound all warped or anything like
So
that.
you keep your string tension and everything pretty.
Exactly. Yeah. Highly recommend that for anybody who is looking. If you play music and you have different tunings and you're like, I gotta buy another guitar, don't get that little pedal. It's a lifesaver. Yeah. Sure.
Nate Bana. He says,
Oh God.
says Billy the Pop Culture King. Are we excited for Superman Legacy or Fantastic Four, and why?
I'm excited for both. Truth be told, I'm not the biggest DC fan. I mean, I am in the sense of like, I mean, it's such a cliche thing to say, but Batman is incredible. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a hot take, but I actually enjoyed the Snyderverse movies for what they were. Same. I've never read comic books a day in my life, so whatever is on screen and I like it, okay? So, but I also know that those movies, that DC universe got a really bad rap because of Zack Snyder and the liberties that he took for those characters and how they're not true to the comics and all that stuff. I don't give a shit about that stuff because I like seeing different interpretations from different people.
Right.
So that's why I liked, and I used that very loosely, the Snyderverse movies. I do understand the flaws of those movies. But I feel like they haven't done Superman right ever. So I'm interested to see what James Gunn does. So yes, I am looking forward to it. But am I looking forward to the Fantastic Four more? You fucking bet, dude, because I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a big Marvel guy. So, and I again, those early 2000s Fantastic Four movies, bad. But because I was a teenager, those still hold a soft spot.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to the first steps for sure. I'll be in line, front of the line, front and center at those screenings. The days that they come out, though, even the Superman movie, I will see it the day it comes out for sure.
I think we're getting a theater for Superman if you want to roll.
Oh,
okay.
I don't think people realize. Like I feel like the Fantastic Four movie is gonna. It's
gonna open up a lot of things.
I don't think it's a hot take, but I think this is gonna be what almost Iron Man, the first Iron Man was.
Yeah.
Because most like average casual comic book, or even just people who enjoy the comic book movies that have been out, the Marvel movies, like they only really know about the Fox ones, which weren't good.
Yeah.
I think they have their moments, like they're fun, but it's like that wasn't Fantastic Four. That wasn't Doctor Doom. Like we don't get to see like the true technology meets magic.
Yeah.
His story, but trying to get his mom out of hell. Like we don't get to see any of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think, and Kevin Feige, I think his favorite comic book series was the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I think these movies are gonna like, especially like their movies, Fantastic Four. I think they're gonna be like game changers, which is crazy.
I sure hope so.
For what the MCU's been.
Yeah.
I think the Avengers or the Fantastic Four are gonna take us somewhere like crazy.
Are you watching Daredevil Born Again right now? Unreal how good that show is. Okay, here's the thing. I never watched the entirety of the Netflix Daredevil series.
Okay.
I watched the first 3 episodes like a few years ago, and I just never came back to it because I honestly was like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
I'm watching Born Again. I'm like, this show is fucking probably one of the best shows I've ever seen right now. at that third episode, no spoilers, but good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I was talking to my buddy Arturo, who I used to do a movie podcast with, and Daredevil, the Netflix series, is his favorite television show of all time.
Yeah.
And he was like, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. For years he's been saying. And I'm like, I'll get to it. And I never do. And so after that third episode, I was talking to him. I go, dude, that third episode of Born Again was fucking crazy and all this stuff. He's like, oh yeah, it's so good, like this and that and the other. And I go, is the Netflix series on par with this? He's like, yeah. Every single episode is basically like that. So I immediately started the original Netflix series like a couple nights ago, and I am like, I'm a fucking idiot. This show is amazing.
It's a slow burn, but once shit picks up, you're like.
But it's interesting because like I was talking to a friend of mine at work about this. I go, I don't know what it was about about the Born Again, but I'm like, I'm already invested in what they're doing, having not seen the original show.
Yeah.
That I'm like, okay, I already have like some kind of connection with Matt Murdock, and dude, Kingpin.
He's amazing. D'Onofrio's
What
amazing.
a villain he is, dude. That guy's a fucking a mob boss, is like putting it lightly. Okay, so when I went back and started to revisit the original series, I already felt like there was some sort of like, I'm like, okay, I already like Born Again. I like this already, like right off the bat, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, it felt just, I don't know, just like, I don't know what it was, but the timing just felt right for me to go back now to watch it, having this appreciation, which I know is like, oh, only because you're watching the new one. Well, dude,
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
fucking it happens, dude. Like,
Dude, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That you get to experience that. Yeah.
That's what everybody has been saying. It's like, you
Yeah.
get to watch it again for the. Oh my god, you're so lucky. I'm just like, you know.
Have you guys watched Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Yes, that was incredible, dude. It was so good.
You need to watch it.
It's honestly okay. Here's what I'll say. I thought that show was going to be catered towards kids, like
Same.
kids, like middle school kids at the least. And I'm like, maybe I'll watch it. And I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, this is pretty good. And then like episode 5 or some shit, I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is like.
Yeah.
And then that spoiler alert, the fight with Scorpion.
Yeah.
I won't say anything else other than that.
So I just recently finished it. We finished it actually last night. Me and Andrew. And during that Scorpion fight, I legit looked at him and I was like, this is a really fucking good fight.
Yeah, this is actually really good.
And he was like, yeah, dude, it is. And the things that they're doing with that show, I'm like, we're getting that.
Yeah,
we're getting that.
Yeah.
This is a full circle.
yeah.
It's like,
yeah, and like I think it was after the pilot episode, the first episode, how it ended. I was like, yo, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just a little, and just like if you're a Raimi head, like if you like the original Spider-Man trilogy, they do a lot of nods to that, and it's like if you're a fan of the early 2000s Spider-Man, even the Amazing Spider-Man stuff, even though those didn't get like the
I like those movies.
Andrew Garfield's my favorite Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Best in the costume for sure.
Yes.
He's witty, like moves well.
So if you're just a fan of those, like the Your Friendly Neighborhoods, that show, it nods to all of it.
Yeah.
And it's also in the MCU context, like, you know, it's a multiversal thing. So it's like, if you're familiar with what's going on in the MCU that are not in the Spider-Man movies, the way they weave certain things into it, I'm like, that was fucking clever. So,
And
you know,
and
I will say that.
I love, without spoilers, how everybody has like the OG comic accurate suits.
Yeah.
Like even the
Yes.
villains too. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I was avoiding it for that reason because I thought it was like a kid for like little kids.
No,
Yeah.
It's
It's
good.
not. I mean, like it like I think the animation style is also what deterred a lot of people from watching it, because my friend who I was talking about, Arturo, who I did a movie podcast with, he's like, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. The animation looks too, and I go, dude, just trust me. Just trust me. And he started watching it as a skeptic, and he's like, the show's really fucking good. I'm like, I told you.
Wait, did you watch X-Men 97?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
Yeah.
that show.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the way that played out. Because again, I was like, oh, this is just going to be a continuation of a cartoon that I've loved since I was a kid. Shit happens in that. And I'm like,
Shit happens fast.
But the thing is, too, is like, I'm glad that it did because, and this is another thing that I was talking to a friend of mine at my job about, was the MCU is not for kids anymore. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. Like, yes, kids can go see these movies, but they're not catering to kids anymore.
Right.
They're catering to adults. It's like the average age of the MCU viewership now is 25 to 40, for sure.
Because they were the ones that were in.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
when it
We
was-
read all these comics.
Exactly. Like, and even if you didn't, you saw all the Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies. Maybe you saw Blade when it first came out, but you for sure saw Iron Man in the theaters.
Yep.
Everybody in this room remembers when Iron Man was being made into a movie. Being like, who the fuck cares about Iron Man? Now we're all in the theaters bawling our fucking eyes out during Endgame.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you took this one character that everyone was like, who cares? To literally one of the most beloved things no one expected.
All the initial Marvel movies, this was their B squad. This wasn't even Marvel's
No.
like heavy
Because
hitters.
they didn't own
because they didn't own the rights to it.
No.
their top ones.
But the thing is like, you know, I was literally just talking about this yesterday with a friend of mine at work about when the first Avengers movie came out, the live action Avengers movie. When in the Incredible Hulk, I think it was that. No, it was the in the first Iron Man where Nick Fury says the Avengers Initiative or whatever the fuck. I'm like, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, there's
they're not
no
gonna,
way.
They're not gonna make the Avengers a movie. How are they gonna do that?
Yeah.
And then Iron Man 2 came out. Then Thor came out. Then Captain America. And then The Incredible Hulk came out like right after that. And I'm like, oh my God, they're actually going to fucking do this. And then the trailer for the Avengers came out and everyone just blew a load everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was,
Accurate.
Yeah.
like I literally still to this day think to myself, I can't believe they pulled it off the way that they did.
I still go back whenever I need like a boost. I'll go back and watch the theater reactions for the end of Endgame, where people saw like, you know, all that shit happening for the very first time, and people are like screaming at the top of their lungs, cheering, like everything.
When Cap gets Mjolnir.
Dude, my theater was on its feet.
Yeah. Same.
I saw White happen. One person stood up. It was one dude in the front. Everyone saw it happen. One dude stood up. So because you don't want to miss, this is when like, you know, all the portals are opening.
Yeah.
So this one dude stands up, and so the person behind them didn't want to obstruct it, so they stood up, and then
everyone
whole theater, it was like a wave.
And then just hearing that, like Avengers, and he just says it so casual. Assemble. You're like,
Pop.
It's like, dude, I remember when it was Age of Ultron, when it was like Avengers, and then it just is like,
yeah.
Dude, by the way, I rewatched that fairly recently. That movie is still so good.
It's great. It's
like,
great.
I remember hating it back in the day. I'm like, this movie was dumb. I didn't like it. What happened to? And now I'm like, oh no, this is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like, you know, when you have seen all these movies and you rewatch the older movies, all the like foreshadowing that you now know is coming, you're just like, oh wow, I remember when I first rewatched the Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And that guy, the bald guy with the glasses who was working for Hydra, was like, yeah, he wants to find enhanced people like so-and-so, Stephen Strange. And I was like, you mentioned Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
And I never would have known if I would have saw it back then. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
But I loved like, even like when Tony Stark gets brought back in the Iron Man film from being captured. And he's like, what do you want, Tony? A cheeseburger. And then in the funeral scene, what do you want? A cheeseburger. Your dad loved cheeseburgers. I'm like, so good, man.
And that's and I feel like it's okay to feel that because they earned it.
That is Endgame is probably, I mean, like that 2019 was a crazy year for like endings. Like you had the end of the Infinity Saga, the end of Star Wars, and the end of Game of Thrones. You would have thought that Game of Thrones and Star Wars would have landed the endings. They did not. Yeah. All right. Well,
Hey.
But
Kathleen Kennedy's gone.
But fucking the end of the Infinity Saga, that was like that landing fucking stuff.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I could have handled if it didn't, because of
No.
I was
All that build up.
all into Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I was like, to say I was let down is probably the
Biggest understatement of all time, man. I still listen. I understand that the last 3 episodes of season 8 were not good, but I'm not gonna let 3 bad episodes undo 8 years of like the biggest roller coaster ride of that
Right.
show. That's my
Right.
favorite show of all
Right.
time, dude.
You're a bigger man than I. I was, dude. I remember because I had friends. What are you? So I had friends that were telling me like in season 7, starting to kind of like show like little cracks in the armor.
Yeah.
And I was just like in my mind like, I can't hear that because they're gonna bring it back. And
Yeah.
they're gonna explain this.
I think I was.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
one of them.
no.
Mike was the first
Yeah.
one to try to put a little reason. Maybe kind of be like, hey, maybe soften your,
Yeah, for sure. You soften your criticism a
Yeah.
little bit. No, I get you.
dude. Yeah, it was rough.
I know.
We got to experience Jesse seeing it all for the first time, though.
Got to experience fucking the Red Wedding.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
dude.
we filmed his reaction to it. I don't know what ever happened.
I
to that.
legitimately had to stop watching that show for 2 days after that. It was very traumatizing. And so the thing was, though, is like I binged Game of Thrones in like 2017, like a couple months before season 7 came back, because I had watched season 1 and 2 during TV with like on TV as it aired with like an ex of mine. And then when we broke up, because I used to watch it at her grandparents' house when we broke up, I was like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to watch
do
Game of
now?
Thrones
Yeah.
now? And then I got an HBO Go account, and then just fucking, I'm like, oh, I gotta finish it. And then I was with another ex of mine, and we watched like the first season in like one day, and I was like, I'm fucking back, dude.
Yeah.
It was
For them to kill off a character that you think is going to be the star of the show in episode 1. I was
dude.
like, what in the
literally-
actual fuck is happening?
I legitimately remember like watching that episode, being like, well, what now?
Yeah. There's so many other episodes that are coming. What's going to happen?
Like I had no idea, because again, I never read the books. I knew
Me
nothing
neither.
of it, so I was just like, the season finale is next week. What the fuck are they gonna do? And then whatever they did do, I mean, like they did it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the Red Wedding, I like legitimately like I've rewatched it a few times with friends that have never seen it before, and whenever that episode comes up, I skip it. I tell them to watch it without me.
Really?
And when they're like, "Why?" and I'm like, "I'm just I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to watch it. I've seen that episode a lot. I know what happens. You'll be fine." And then they'll be like, "You fucking asshole."
It's
I'm like,
it's a hard
"Sorry."
one for me because like I'll sit there and look at you like this the whole time while you're watching it.
I did that with Joffrey's death, and then when Pedro Pascal get his head fucking crushed in.
Yeah.
I was watching with a buddy of mine, and I was like, and then as soon as that part came up, as soon as he gets him on the ground, I go like this.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't want to hear his blood curdling scream or see that shit again. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I opened my eyes after like 15 seconds, and I'm like, I think I'm safe now. And then my buddy Darnell, who I was watching it with, his face was literally like, I was like, that is the appropriate face. And I remember also before Joffrey's death, he was like, it's getting kind of late, man. I think I need to go home. And I'm like, what episode are we on? Season 4, episode 2. And I'm like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, why? And I'm like, just watch.
Just wait.
Just watch. And then it got the part where he's like, and he goes, is this it? Is this it? And I'm like, yeah, this is it, dude. Yeah.
See, so Joffrey, freaking Scorpion, or that was the name. Pedro Pascal's character.
Oberyn Martell.
Yeah. I mean, go on all the most satisfying deaths. Fucking
Ramsay Bolton.
Ramsay, and then to have Cersei just get crushed by rocks,
Jamie too.
Yeah.
and Jamie
Together
Whack.
embracing each other.
Whack.
And then when they go
Gross.
back to the room, there's just one pile, and that's where they are.
Pissed me off. Yeah. I get it, bro. I get it.
So all this to go back,
Oh.
dude. Yes, dude. Marvel stuck the landing.
They did.
Like such a good job on just like bringing stories to, ending story arcs, and yeah.
I still haven't seen Captain America.
Brave New World.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I liked it. Yeah. It's good. It feels, a lot of people are saying that were skeptics of it. Were like, actually, this movie feels like the MCU's coming back to what
Okay.
it's supposed to be. It feels like it's more connected now. It feels like it's going in an actual direction. So just saying, I felt the same way watching it. So
Good.
obviously take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. See it for yourself if you want. But I'm just saying a lot of people are actually like, okay, this is actually.
I just haven't had time or haven't made the time.
Yeah.
The only thing for that is just like it's not a knock on the movie. It's just a knock on like I thought Falcon already was a good character.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, it's not even like he's a great Captain America. He can be, but it's like we got Steve Rogers, and it's just so hard to be like, okay, that character was such a important role, and then you're just it's like you're passing it off to Falcon, who's already a good character in his own right. And I don't know.
I also think that my only criticism of that is some of the clips I've seen. He's doing things which I know he's aided by, like, the suit
Red wing.
and the wing and everything, but like his arms should be broken.
Yeah.
Doing this, right? Like, because he doesn't have
the super
strength that Cap had. So it's like, in my head, I still think that, and I know they both were Captain America, but that Bucky would have been the better choice. But I don't know. But I'm still gonna watch it. I just haven't.
Yeah.
Haven't yet.
When you have time.
And then I'm going back to Daredevil. As soon as like I knew it was coming back, I was like, babe, we gotta watch it. So we went through all three seasons.
Last year.
Yeah.
The one you can skip is Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that one was not very good.
Dude, I don't even remember it.
I hope that when they bring the Defenders back, they bring the chick from Iron Fist back and not.
Well, so I feel like with where because back so the MCU TV side and the movie side they were completely separate.
Yeah.
And like there was like actual beef with Feige and the TV dude, and so that's why they weren't gonna appear in anything at that time. And then once they got rid of that dude, so all that says I feel like I kind of trust what they could do with Iron Fist where the MCU's at now.
Yeah.
I just think that when I was watching Born Again, I feel like they're missing a cool little like just nod to the rest of the MCU because these are all street level guys, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a scene, without spoilers, where they're at like a pier, right? And you can see the city across the bay or whatever. Like, just throw in a little, like, you can see Spider-Man swinging in the back, or whatever. Like, just little nods like that.
The nods that they do have in Born Again right now, although
are cool.
If you catch them, you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The nods that they have in the original series too, I'm like, if you catch them, that's pretty cool. But like, they can't like, because there was like rights issues at the time.
Yeah.
They couldn't say character names. They couldn't like talk about like XYZ things. So they like made up their own names for it. I'm like, if you know, type thing.
Yeah.
So that's always pretty cool.
Yeah, like the event.
Yeah.
Or like,
The incident is what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. Good question, Nate.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate.
Thanks, Nate.
That was a
30 minutes later.
30 minutes later. Yeah. That could be a whole podcast in itself.
All right. And then pretty much the rest of these are from our buddy Chris Ballard.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Would you ever hook up with someone old enough to be your grandma?"
No.
What?
No. Absolutely not.
You wouldn't be a sugar baby?
Maybe.
The money's right.
If the money's right. If she's like 10 or 15 years older, I would be like, that's fine. But like
Grandma age?
grandma age,
I'd be afraid to hurt
Christy Brinkley would be the only one I'd be like, okay.
It's anyway.
Because she doesn't look her age. That's all I'll say.
I saw a thing where it's like a lot of those hot girls that you basically beat off to in the 90s, they're all grandmas now.
them.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw one that said, stop calling them MILFs. They're just women your age now.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. That's funny.
he said, "I hope all you dudes are doing well, mentally and physically. Miss you all." He's done a lot here. So he said, "Wendy's or Baker's?"
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna go Wendy's.
I'm going to go Wendy's too.
I think Wendy's is superior.
Baker's is good though. Baker's is fucking good. But
Baker's has a ton of variety.
but I also don't live out in the Inland Empire, so it's like I don't have that option unless I'm out here.
Yeah.
You know, there's Wendy's around the fucking corner everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Fresh, never frozen, dude.
yeah.
Wendy's.
But Baker's is very, very good. But if I had to pick out of the two, I'd say Wendy's. Yeah.
Damn, Wendy's sounds tight.
Yeah. Those chicken nuggets.
Baker sounds good right now.
Yeah.
Baconator?
Dude, there's a 50-piece nugget bucket at Wendy's. And I feel like we need to hit it.
Interessante.
I've got it.
You ate it by yourself?
No. It was at a party somewhere. I was like, it's real.
This is a fun and tough one. If you could relive any moment in your life, what would it be?
Boy, oh boy. See, that's a loaded question because if I could relive any moment in my life, would I go back to that moment with the knowledge that I have now?
Yeah.
Would
you change things or
would
do
I
things
change
different?
things? Would I look the same? Would I look different? Like would I be if like say I wanted to go back to high school, would I look like what I look like now? Or like I don't know. If I could go back there, I wouldn't.
When I hear this,
I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't because
what if you could go back as like and you could like watch it from?
yeah, oh yeah. I mean like if I could like go back and like rewatch my life from a certain point in time, yeah, I'd probably say that I would do that. But if I could go back and like change things, I don't think I would. Just because, again, it goes back to an earlier part of the conversation. Like I'm where I am now because of the things that I chose to do or what I was doing in my life at the time. But like, I would more or less just like go back in time when I wasn't alive and be like, oh, I want to go see The Empire Strikes Back in theater. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, no, I would probably not go back and change anything. Maybe I would tell myself at a younger age to be like, hey, don't fucking drink or smoke cigarettes or like stuff like that.
Don't
like,
fuck your body
It's gonna hurt you in the long run. You know what I mean?
Don't mess up your body moving
Yeah,
forward.
exactly that. That's probably like maybe like because I don't eat fast food anymore. I stopped eating fast food like 4 years ago, and I probably would tell like my like 21-year-old self, stop eating fucking Taco Bell every day, dude. Like it's not good for you. You know what I mean? So I'd probably say that if anything. But as far as like would I change anything else? Probably not. No.
How about you, Mike? Have you ever?
I don't think I would. I mean, there's a few instances that I look back on where I'm like, oh, that's what was happening. But I don't think I would relive them because it probably changed the course of things.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a. Nah, you don't want to do that.
There, you're talking about the soccer player.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. That's one of them. Yeah.
No.
Just those times when you're a kid and you're just dumb, you know?
I feel like
I think we told that story on the podcast, so you don't have to.
I'm trying to think if I would. I feel like I'd want to go back to the first show I ever like paid to go see, and to see if it was like
As good as you remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
See,
was
I don't.
the first show that you ever went to?
first show I ever went to that paid money for because I did like parties, house parties and stuff like that. It was Falling Sickness at the Showcase Theater.
Mm-hmm.
The headliner was Peter and the Test Tube Babies, but I was there for Falling Sickness, and like seeing that, it was like, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, because I think by that time I already had a guitar and stuff, and I was already, I think it was like, we're gonna do a band, but I remember seeing that, I was like, okay, I am not gonna stop until I have that.
Yeah.
Being on stage, people going crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Was Off the Record on that show?
no. All right. Scariest thing you've ever experienced?
Scariest thing I ever experienced was, this is going to be a long story, but I'll try to keep it short just because I know we've been talking for a while. First tour I ever did with the Great Commission, we flipped our van, and it was, we were in Austin, Texas, 4:00 in the morning. Driver wanted to go get an energy drink, and I was like, dude, we're like an hour away from Austin. Like, we just need to go. Because we're going to stay at this guy's house. We're going to get there too late. And he's like, I really need an energy drink. And I'm like, oh, please, just keep driving. And he's like, okay, I'll keep driving. And then literally 2 minutes later, semi-truck hits our trailer, jackknifes the van, we flip over.
Fuck.
And I'm like, I should have fucking shut my mouth. He should have gotten that energy drink. So like, that was probably the one of the scariest things I ever experienced. And then I would also say, and looking back on it, I was like 7 years old and I lived in Seattle at the time. And my friend, who was my neighborhood friend that I used to hang out with all the time, was shooting archery in the back of his backyard. And back in the 90s, you just went into somebody's house without knocking. There was, you know, that's what you did in the 90s. You're like, hey, I'm here, what's up? And so I go, I go through his side gate. He shot off an arrow. I turned around. The arrow is this far away from my face.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. That was another one. But I like laughed it off. I was just like, oh, I almost died. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would probably say that those are the two most scariest things for sure. Yikes.
Yeah, I think I put the van in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, do you have a scariest experience?
Yeah.
I almost drowned when I was a kid.
Ooh,
My
yeah.
dad pulled me out by my hair. We were at like a family friend's house, and I was like just hanging on the side of the pool. Like I had taken swim lessons, but I just panicked and I just went too deep while they were like cleaning the pool out, and he just pulled me out by my hair.
Yeah.
That was like
You ever-
underwater.
Have you guys ever been crushed by waves at the beach before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me once. That was like 1, 2, 3 guys.
And you're so disoriented.
Disoriented. Yeah, it was fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and redo your senior year of high school, what would you do different?
Nothing. I would just leave it as it was.
Mm.
Except for that one soccer player.
If I could go back to my senior year and redo it all over again, what would I do differently? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
My senior year sucked, but it was also really fun because of the friends that I did have, the music I was discovering and listening to, and the friends that I did get to share those experiences with. That was kind of like, that was really, really important, because that was like when I first started to really start going to shows. That was 05, 06. So it was like, that was like when I started really first going to shows. And like, were there people that like, because I was like one out of like 5 kids at my high school that listened to hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, it was so, because I grew up in Orange County in a very preppy rich area, and nobody listened to hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, besides the 5 other kids in my school that did, nobody else did. Everyone called you the worst things possible you could ever imagine. If you had swoopy hair,
Yep. Game over.
yeah, game over. Which is why I never grew out my hair like that. I always had my hair either like this or like in a faux hawk or some shit like that. And even then, you were like, "Oh, you have a faux hawk, huh?"
I had a faux hawk and I got called Rufio all the time.
Yeah, I got called Jimmy Neutron.
Okay.
Yeah. So
She would have called you Jimmy
and to
Neutron.
play into it, I dressed up as him for Halloween one year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I wouldn't change a thing. It was. I mean, like, the one thing that sucked about it was like I had a girlfriend in senior year that broke up with me like a week before graduation, and that part sucked. But then we got back together like afterwards and dated for 2.5 years. So it was like
Weird.
it was weird, but like I still wouldn't have changed anything. No. Maybe I would have like better comebacks for like the bullies at my school. Again, knowing what I know now, having like the fucking comedic timing that I have,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's,
could have probably done a lot better back then, but you know.
I think I would have been more open to like basically being more like okay with like letting people know that I liked something other than punk rock.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know?
I mean, I would even take it a step further than that. Like, back when I was in high school, I don't know about you guys, but if you were like, I like Star Wars,
fucking
Nope.
nerd. Yep.
can't do that. Oh, I like Dragon Ball Z or anything anime. No, you don't. What are you, a loser?
Yep.
You know, you can't say you like shit like that.
Yep. I was just actually recently talking to somebody from high school.
Yeah.
We had like just reconnected randomly, and she was saying, you know, oh, I remember back in the day you were still into like comic books and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, but I was like considered a fucking nerd back then.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but all that shit's cool now. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder why. You know what I mean? Like,
Because it was cool.
because now it's like there's almost like cliques and stuff like that and like nerd culture stuff. It's like there's always purists, there's always elitist people, and it's like fucking stop it, dude. You like what you like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Everybody gives me shit about, oh, you like the sequel trilogy in Star Wars. Yeah, I like it. So fucking what,
Yeah.
dude? Why do you like it? How about I use my eyes and I'm like, wow, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
What, do you not get excited when you hear, you don't get excited? Yeah, but the movie sucked. Okay, fine, dude. I'm not gonna have this conversation, you know?
it's that like what they refuse to like acknowledge is those, you know, like the prequels. We saw way cooler lightsaber fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
We saw them using them for like fucking cut through blast doors and shit we never saw in the original.
Kids die.
We saw kids
I
die.
mean, it was implied that they did. We didn't actually see it.
Yeah, I just recently saw like this thread of this chick on social media, currently right now watching Star Wars for the first time, and she's like filming herself, and just like I don't even like I can just hear the movie in the background and be like, I know what you're going through right now,
Oh, yeah.
just because I remember going through all that shit. And
I'm seeing right now this girl on TikTok reading the Harry Potter books for the first time.
oh shit,
And she is on Deadly Hallows, and she is fucked up. She's like, and it is the greatest because, you know, I never read the books, but I've seen all the movies, so at least I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And the emotions that we all felt. And like, you know, when she was watching, I think it was the Order of the Phoenix where Sirius Black died, she was like, wow! And I'm just like, yep, we were all there, dude.
spoilers.
Oh, come on. Statute of limitations is over. It's like saying fucking Monica and Chandler got married in front of spoiler. But, you know.
You did a pop culture podcast. You know how angry
I
people
know,
get.
I know. People are, it's like, bro, if you haven't, okay, I remember, I think it was when The Force Awakens came out. Has everybody seen The Force Awakens in this? Okay. When Han Solo died?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I remember it was like 2 to 3 months after, and me and my whole family were having dinner, and we were talking about the movie, and my dad was like, I can't believe they killed Han Solo. My sister had not seen the movie. She's like, dude, spoiler. And I'm like, you've had 3 months to see this. It's your fucking fault now.
This is on you now.
I feel that way too.
But at the same token, I hate it. I mean, like, this has been a thing since, like, I'm sure it's been a thing for forever, but like I remember I saw the very first showings of Avengers Endgame the day it came out, because I'm like, if that movie gets spoiled for me, it's not going to be a good day for anybody. So I get out of the theater. My showing was at 6 o'clock. I get out right at 9. I open Facebook, and the first thing that I see someone post is Avengers Endgame is goated, 10 out of 10, RIP Stark. And I was like, you are so lucky I just walked out of this movie. Like, bro, so many people.
Also, why post it that soon?
That's fast. That's really fast.
Because people are dumb.
Yeah.
I will tell you this.
Some people want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. So I remember when I didn't see The Force Awakens until 2 days after it had come out. Because I was like, I'll get around to seeing it. It's not like anyone's going to spoil the movie for me. But I was dead wrong.
Yeah.
The night it came out, I was on Facebook, and a GIF of a truck was driving by, and on the back of it said Han Solo dies.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's not true. And then the next post after that was my actual friend of mine that said, I can't believe they killed Han Solo in Star Wars. And I was like, it was no.
You know, I
beyond furious.
I don't really care about spoilers. Like, they don't, because to me, I'm like, you can tell me Han Solo dies, but it's still going to shock me when I see the way he dies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That is true. At least I didn't know when he died or how he died.
Right.
And then there were still other things in that movie that still shocked me. I was like, oh shit, Kylo Ren was Han Solo's son. Oh shit, like I didn't know that. Like that. So all that stuff was still really cool, but like it still is just like you don't want to know.
Yeah.
That something's coming, and then
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
waiting
When's it gonna
for
happen?
the
Like
When's it
I
gonna
remember
happen?
when I was watching Game of Thrones, I was binge watching Game of Thrones with my ex, and like I had a coworker at the time who had seen the whole thing up until season 7 before it was coming out, and he was always asking me, "Where are you at? What's happening? Like what character is doing what? Where are these people at? All that type of stuff." And I remember, has everybody seen Game of Thrones in here?
Yes.
Okay, so when Jon Snow died,
Yeah.
I was like, how are they gonna fuck? I was so mad, so mad. I go into work the next day, and my friend's like, "Hey, so where you at on Game of Thrones?" I go, "They killed fucking Jon Snow," and he goes, "Oh, well, he comes back, right?" And I'm like, "No."
You motherfucker.
And he's like,
You just asked me, where am I?
and then his answer was, "I'm just kidding." I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't fucking do that
Yeah.
to me." And
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." He still to this day feels so bad about it, but
My dad does that to me. He I think we were recently watching the Day of the Jackal. It's a like reboot of an old 70s like spy and assassin shit. And he's like, "So what episode are you on?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm on this episode." He's like, "Has this and this happened?" "Absolutely not."
No.
"Oh, that must be the next episode."
Oh
and you're
my
like,
God.
"All right, Dad, just don't talk to me until we're done."
Don't
Yeah. Like I'm still gonna watch it, but just don't talk to me. Until we're done.
When Spider-Man No Way Home, I was working, and I remember my shift was like 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, that's right, because you couldn't go to
Fuck
the theater with
that,
us.
dude.
Yeah, it's like, so all my buddies went to the movie, and I just knew that there was something big gonna happen.
of course.
And then I'm like at work, and then these guys text me like, "Dude, Mike, you won't fucking believe it, dude. It's like it's so good, it's insane." And I remember I was like, because I had gotten tickets because I worked Saturday as well, same time, 11 to 11, and my movie was for Sunday, and I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. So I while I was at work, I was looking for like, a midnight showing, 1 a.m. showing, 2 a.m. showing, 3 a.m. showing, and there were like 3 a.m. showings, all booked up.
Yeah, of course.
All full.
Of course.
And so I was like looking for theaters like far away. I was like, could I make this if I left here? Whatever, blah blah.
Yeah.
And finally, I found I think it was 8 a.m. an 8 a.m. showing for Saturday. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna go. Got tickets. I got 2 tickets to see if anybody wanted to come with me. Nobody wanted to come with me. So went by myself, and I remember watching it. Earliest I've ever been in a theater, but going to watch it early in the morning. So I was like, I can't live my life not looking at my phone, because I wasn't. I was like, I can't. Look at my
Yeah,
phone.
of course not.
And you high-fived the guy next to you in the theater?
Yeah,
Is that what
dude,
happened?
I think they felt bad for me. Like as I think back on it now, I feel like I feel like they knew that I like this guy came by himself.
Yeah. I'm also like to kind of like branch off on like the phone thing. It's like if I know a certain movie is coming out the day of me going to see that movie, I don't look on my phone at all. It's so fucking hard to, but like you just don't. And then because I've had other movies spoiled for me where I see it on like a night where it's a premiere and I didn't get the first showing, so I go to a later one, and I've just been in the lobby and someone's like, "Oh, fucking this happens," and I'm like, So every time if that happens, I take my headphones and I blast music until the credits start.
Yeah.
Have you've seen Logan, right?
Yes.
Everybody? Okay. So I remember going to see Logan, and I was in the lobby and I was getting my popcorn and getting my drink, walking back to the theater, and this fucking lady was just like, "I can't believe they killed Charles." And I'm like, "Dude!" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm going to see Logan, you..." 4-letter word I can't say on here, but fucking dude, I just like, I knew they were gonna kill him off, but I didn't want it to be confirmed by some jackass in a fucking lobby of the theater. Same thing, like, then after that, Wonder Woman like recently had just come out after that. Same thing, like anytime I was with my ex at the time when we were going to watch it, and I remember we were like, "Okay, we're gonna get there super early, and when everybody walks out of the theater, we're just gonna cover our ears." So that's literally she didn't give a shit about it. She's like, "I don't care if the movie's spoiled for me." I'm like, "I do."
Yeah.
So like, I remember just being on a bench outside the theater going like, "La la 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 la," and people were looking at me like, "The fuck's wrong with this guy?" So, but yeah, anybody that spoils shit, I don't like you. Sorry, I just don't. God, man, we just go on so much tangents.
Yeah, that's all this show is. Yeah.
That's the show. Okay. Who do you think has better hair, Mike P or Mike A?
It's different hairstyles, man.
Yeah, I'm a little bit past my haircut. So.
Sorry.
We'll take that. We'll take that W.
That's fine. Brandon, we got it. All right. Who is your biggest inspiration and why?
Inspiration? It's a pretty
Broad.
pretty broad question.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of inspirations. Musically, I would say probably like Mark Hoppus. He's what pretty much got me into wanting to play guitar. I mean, like, dude, honestly, like, I don't really like. That is a great question. I mean, I'd obviously, like, I would say, like, anybody in my family, like my parents are big inspirations. Like, I love my dad, I love my mom, my grandpa. When he was alive, he was a big inspiration of mine. Anybody who does whatever the fuck they want to do and succeeds at it. Sean Mott from Metalcore Nerds is a big one of mine.
Love Sean.
You know, that dude fucking came from, like, starting just a random podcast Facebook group and doing, you know, talking about shit that he loves, and now he's on fucking Adobe Howl, like, and now he's just doing it bi-weekly because he's like, I have so much shit I got to do now.
Writing for Collider.
Collider, dude, that is one of the biggest pop culture publications like ever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one. Jesse Barnett from Stick to Your Guns, he's one. I would say, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, just like I said, anybody who is close to me, friend wise, who just does whatever the fuck they want and they're having fun doing it, and they just have so much passion and desire to do what they want. Like, you guys inspire me sometimes. You know, you guys do a podcast, 148 episodes deep. Shit,
That's a lot.
could not be me, bro. Like, you know, you guys talk about mental health every week, like, and shit like that, bro. Like, you know, it's a podcast that, like, I don't think a lot of people. You know, there are mental health podcasts out there, but none incorporate the music scene along with it. So I think it's kind of cool that you guys are doing something like that. So that's an inspirational thing, you know?
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, I think, you know, I'm sure, you know, we'll get into our checking in on the mental health part, but, you know, it's like, we always talk about checking in on the homies and nobody fucking never really does it except for you two.
Right.
You guys have a whole show about it. It's cool. I like it. But, you know, I mean, okay, that's hyperbolic. Nobody does. Like, we do, but it's like, it's
in different ways.
Yeah, it's in different ways. Like, you know, like, maybe someone's not saying, hey, how are you? It's like, hey, I'm going to go to a movie tonight. You want to come with?
Yeah.
And then, you know, or I'm going to go get food. Why don't you come with me or some shit like that? You know, that's like checking in and stuff too. Like, you know, I got friends who live in other parts of the world, like they live in, like, I have friends who live in Australia and that live in, like, the UK and stuff like that. And, you know, one of my best friends from high school lives in Switzerland right now. We talk all the time and shit, you know what I mean? But we're never saying, like, how's your mental health? We're just checking in. We're just like, hey, how's life been?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think even just that implies, how's your mental health? Yeah. There are some people, however, that I do check in on their mental health. It's thankfully a small group of people because they know how to manage it and stuff like that. But it still is, like, it is still good that if you have that best friend, if you have that close family member to be like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? So, like, anybody who just, you know, who advocates for good mental health is people that inspire me too. And like I said, even in, like, filmmaking, if you're passionate about filmmaking and you are telling a story about a personal thing that you're going through, or, you know, anybody who is vulnerable and open and sensitive to topics and stuff like that. I know that sounds like the lamest thing you've ever heard, but as somebody who grew up in a family of you know, sensitive people and people who try to think about others and what you know, the shoes that they have and how dirty are their shoes, how fucked up are their shoes, like, are they, you know, do they got holes in them, like, figuratively speaking. But it's like, you never know what that person's going through. Even someone who's got the whatever you're wearing and they're fresh as fuck, like, you never know.
Yeah.
There could be inside of those shoes, you know, some imperfections and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know, anybody who just, like, who cares about people, who just like has drive, has passion, just like does whatever the fuck they want and just doesn't give a fuck about what anybody else says and whatever. Like that's another group of people that inspire me too, I guess. Yeah, just that's it. Yeah.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
And also Sean Mott, on top of all those things,
Oh, dude.
he's such a good husband. and
Great husband.
Such a sweetheart.
So
He's just a good person as a whole. Everything that you can think about what a good person is, he is that person. Yeah.
yeah, literally like the first time I met Sean, I felt like we had known each other.
Dude, when he I remember when he was playing at the Low Love show that you guys played, your headliner for Cycles, when he was like, I'm coming out to California to play with NBR, I was like, shut the fuck up. Because like I legitimately cried when I met him.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because like we have had an internet relationship.
Internet friends,
before.
yeah.
You know, we talk all the time, texting wise. You know, we talk about movies and all that type of shit, and like we've just grown together. And what the funniest part about it is that he actually used to book one of my old bands as like our tour. Not our, I don't want to say our agent, but like he used to book our tours back in like 2018.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I remember seeing his name being like, Sean Mott, why do I know this fucking name? And I'm like, oh my God, he used to book Set Sides back in the day. And I remember when I did the Falcon and Winter Soldier after shows with him before we like got on camera one day, I'm like, do you know you used to book my band? He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course I remember. I'm like, small world. Yeah.
Yeah, he was booking us too, and then he told us, he's like, hey, I'm not gonna book you guys anymore. I'm not gonna be booking anymore. Period.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, you know, it's a bummer. But then like when I saw that what he was doing with Metalcore Nerds, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
sick.
Makes way more
yeah.
sense,
Yeah,
dude.
this- good for you.
And like the fact that he just did it, just kept fucking going, even when like it felt like most likely he was like, this isn't going anywhere, until it did.
Yeah.
And that's just so cool.
And he gets to see things in advance.
Dude, the first time I remember when he said I got a screener for the first time, I was like, dude, you're
That's
in it
it.
now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
over. You're done. Not you're done, but you know what I mean? Like you've made
Yeah.
it. You're good. Like you're
You've hit that certain
You're-
threreshold
yeah.
where this is the real deal.
it's
now.
real deal now.
Yeah.
Now you're doing it. Yeah.
All right, and then the last one, last ones. He said, greatest memory you have?
Oh boy. I cannot pinpoint that. That's very
Meeting Sean Mott.
that's one of them. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would, you know, all the memories that I do have that I hold near and dear are my favorite ones, you know, just like going to my first show, you know, just, I don't know, man. There's so many memories that I could choose, but I feel like that's not the greatest one. Oh, I mean, like
It's hard.
that's a very hard question. to
Probably
answer.
change daily too, you know.
It changes all the time for sure. Cause like, you know, at one point in time, my greatest day was like the day I graduated audio engineering school. Now it's who knows what. I don't think
First record that you fully like mixed mastered is out.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
My friend Corey's band's one. That one for sure. That was like a 3-year process. And I'm like, finally,
Yeah.
it's all done. That was a good memory, you know. I would just say, you know, my internship through my college, that was a really good memory. You know, getting my diploma, that was another one. Like, you know, just I don't know, man. But the greatest one, shoo, could not begin to tell you.
What's yours? And mind you, your wife is sitting right here.
Me and my wife, of course, dude.
Remember.
I remembered afterwards, and that's what matters.
You want to know what my worst memory is?
Them meeting me.
The day you were like, remember that girl from Chain? No?
No.
Nope.
I was like, in fairness, I don't really either, but
Mental health check, man.
mental health check. Mental health check is where we like to check in weekly, see where we're at mentally. That way, if things are going well, what's going on in our life that's keeping us in a good place, and if things aren't going so great, what is keeping us in a funk?
Start with me?
Really,
Oh,
let's
shit.
Kick us off, man. Kick us off.
Yeah. every week is different. I think we can all say that. Some weeks are better than the others. I try to see the silver lining in everything. I try to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I try to see everything from a positive perspective. But there are some times in life where you just can't see them. I mentioned before I graduated college from audio engineering school, right? So my school has job placements, pretty much. A person that represents you to send your resume out to like professional studios to get you a job. And I've been graduated from school for 3 months. And I'm not trying to say that I need to get a job now. However, I've had to get a job working somewhere I used to work before going to school, thinking I'm never going to go back to that place. And when I did, I was really sad about it.
Yeah.
And I'm still working there now, and I'm not as sad about it as I was, but it's like I could be in a way better place right now. And literally, my girlfriend will tell you now, about 2 weeks ago, I had just like opened up to her about how much of a failure I have felt, how I feel like I'm just not gonna go anywhere, even though I did something a lot bigger than myself. So I doubt myself a lot, and that really plays into like anxieties, sure, financial anxiety. A lot of times I don't sleep very well because I'm always worried about like, fuck, how much money do I have in my bank account? And also just like, all the other illnesses that I have that I've been clinically diagnosed with, like, with clinical depression and a panic disorder. It's just like, I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I don't want it to. And like, I don't have healthcare right now. So it's like, I'm scrambling to get healthcare so I can get my fucking medications. And I'm like, so a lot of things. And I know that a lot of people say, take it one day at a time. And it's like, sometimes you're in a spot where you can. Right now, truth be told, I am in that spot where it feels like so much shit is piling up that I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of it. Today, we want to talk about Captain America. Let's talk about Anthony Mackie today on Instagram. I saw, or on TikTok, posted some things about like, you could work as hard as you fucking want.
I saw
but
that.
Unless you get picked, you ain't going nowhere.
Yep.
He's like, I've been in this type of movie, this type of movie, this type of, now I'm Captain America, right? But he was basically saying things like, success is not earned, it is given to you. And I have been saying that in my own mind for almost my whole life, ever since I started working at 16 years old, because we're all millennials-ish here. So when I was growing up, one of the things that my parents, and I'm sure maybe your parents instilled in you guys, was just work really hard, go to school, get the good grades, this and that and the other. You guys are going to make it in life. Well, I did all that and I'm not.
Right.
So why did I do all the things that I did? Why is it that I can't afford a house or an apartment? Why is that? I've been working 40 hours a week since I was 16 years old. Why the fuck can I not afford rent?
Yeah.
And so like a lot of it is financial insecurity, yes. But, being diagnosed with a panic disorder and an anxiety disorder and a gut illness is very, guys, it's hard to deal with when all this shit is happening to you all at once, and you're just like, you have your good days, yes, you're able to manage. At least for me, I'm able to manage all that stuff, but it's like I have to live with this shit for the rest of my life, and sometimes it's very defeating. And sometimes I'm just like, I look at all the good things that I have, and I'm like, I'm so glad I have a support system, and I'm so glad that this and that and the other are all things that I have. And again, a lot of days are good, but then sometimes you do have to have those days where you kind of like, I know that a lot of people say, don't do this, but sometimes sitting in that anger and that hatred and that just vitriol for the life around you because you wish you were at this place. There was a point in time before I went off to school where I was just so jealous of everybody, and I just got so angry, and that caused mental anguish. And I'm like, oh, everybody else is doing what they want. Everybody else I know is going on tour. Everyone else I know is doing this and doing that. Why the fuck can't I do it?
Right.
When is it going to be my turn? And a lot of people were like, that's not selfish for you to think. But I'm like, okay, all right, for sure. And then I went to school. And then I was like, yeah, I'm doing something bigger than myself. That was when my mental health was at the worst, though, because it was an accelerated program, and it was just like
So much stress.
9 months, 9 months straight, no school holidays. I visited California one time in that 9 months to play a show at Destruction of a King on a weekend. Thankfully, I was able to get it off from work and all that type of shit. But, you know, it's just like sometimes you just like, at least for me, I know this is a very woe is me thing, but like, I feel like everybody has at least one of those. And it's like, sometimes I do dwell on the not successes that I have more than I do the successes.
Yeah.
And I hate that. But life doesn't, when all you see is success around you and you're not that, you just feel like you're not there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the keeping up with the Joneses,
Yeah.
thing, man. It's like, it's so hard to see, like, on one hand, you want to see, especially people that are close to you, succeeding and doing
Yeah,
well, and you want to see
absolutely.
them fucking killing it.
Yeah.
But then also there's the part of you that's like, well, I'm also not killing it the way they are.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And for me, like, I've hit a couple of those little points where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't understand what I need to do to get to be better at this, And, kind of like you said, everybody's different. Everybody has kind of a different approach and mentality. And for me, it was just like, oh, you just have to stop comparing yourself to them.
Yeah.
And that was like, it's still hard to do. Like, I still find myself doing it now.
Yeah.
But also, like, in my mind, I'm like, hey, but you guys do a completely different shit.
Yeah. Some people don't, when I was in Arizona, I was in therapy pretty heavily. And one of the things that I think contributes to a lot of other things is being a people pleaser. I think that everybody can agree that we don't want to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes your kindness can be taken advantage of, and the people that know they can do it will, and then will continue to do it forever.
Yep.
Which is, a reason why when I moved to Arizona, I stopped talking to a lot of people, because I started to realize that I was giving a lot of people energy that they didn't deserve.
Yeah.
And I think that was also putting my brain of like racing at 100 miles an hour to being like, well, this person doesn't text you back. Maybe you should text them right now and just be like, oh, all that type of shit. So once I started talking to my therapist about that, she's like, just stop doing it and see how many people reach out to you. And I'll tell you something, the amount of people that I stopped texting that fucking don't reach out first,
It's crazy.
it is fucking crazy. But then again, I do have a lot of people that I don't have to worry about that, because they see what I'm doing and they check in and they're just like, dude, I see that you're doing great and this and that and the other. Let's talk on the phone sometimes and all that, and I have a lot of people like that in my life too. So I am thankful for that. But it's like in the scene as well. We have a lot of friends who are succeeding and touring full time and all type of shit. And I am happy for them. I am so glad that I am at a point in my life where I don't want that anymore.
Right.
Because when I was in my 20s and I held a lot of resentment for a lot of people and kind of burned some bridges with some of those people.
Yeah.
And the whole people pleasing thing is something that I'm honestly, a lot of people probably like, oh, what's wrong with being a people pleaser? It's like, dude, you're just like, you are a doormat. You're walked on a lot, and that will fuck with you mentally big time. So once I started realizing that I need to stop doing that, I have realized how much better my life has been, because I'm just like, I'm only allowing people that give back the energy towards me that I give towards them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, that might be, some people might hear that and be like, nah, you shouldn't do that. No, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Cause like when Alex was on, he was saying like why Destruction of a King stopped playing is like, oh, because people told us what to do and all this type of stuff. I'm now not letting people tell me what the fuck to do anymore. And it feels really, really good to do that.
It's good.
And so I would say, but a lot of times, with the disorders that I have, and like my gut health is not very good. So that also plays into a lot of reasons why I've been clinically diagnosed with something called emetophobia. Have you guys ever heard of that? It's the irrational fear of throwing up.
Interesting.
It is a very weird thing because I never thought that I would ever deal with something like that because I never really think about it. But my therapist was like, it sounds like you have this. And then she like just started rattling off like, when this happens, what happens? And that's where she, I was thinking about it and just like, she was like, I need you to do me a favor. Every time you have a panic attack, tell me what time of day it is and what you did right before. I was like, okay, sure. So I was just like, I had a panic attack at this time, and what I did before it was XYZ things. And almost every single time it had to do with what I ate before. And she's like, she's like, when was the last time you had fast food? I'm like, 4 years ago. She's like, did you stop eating it because of that? And I go, no, I stopped eating it because it was like, I just wanted to stop. And like, I could feel my physical health get better. And she's like, okay, yeah. And so we kind of just like went down a little bit of a rabbit hole she was asking me more questions. And then I started to put pieces together. I found this Instagram website where it talks about it, and they were just like, do you stay away from certain foods? Do you it's like, do you eat the same thing every day? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, okay, do you have what are called safe foods? And I'm like, I do have those. Are they usually not meat? Like, how often do you eat meat? I'm like, I never fucking eat meat anymore. Yeah. She's like, when you go out to restaurants, do you go to the same ones because they cook their food safe? I'm like, yeah. And then like, just there's so many other things. Like when you travel, do you freak out about the places you're gonna have to go eat? And I go, yeah.
You're out of your comfort zone.
Like, okay, so it's just like it's a phobia. It's a mental thing, right? So like. And I think this could be a whole podcast on its own, but there are so many other symptoms of this that I have. And it's, that is the biggest thing that daily, after kind of realizing it, even going back to like a few years ago, I'm like, oh my God, it's been going on for this fucking long. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to deal with that?
Yeah.
Well, we could do exposure therapy. I'm like, no.
Yeah. No.
No, thank you. So it's like, like the idea of like traveling to a foreign country terrifies me.
Yeah.
But there's also like other extenuating factors. I just have never liked flying anyways. I'm like, being fucking 30,000 feet in the air, what if it fucking plummets to my death? No. So it's just like,
That's him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's yeah. So like that's one thing that as of recently I've been, trying to come to terms with and deal with. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, everybody gets sick. Okay, well, you know what?
Different.
It's different, dude. Like, I don't wish this on my mortal enemies. I don't wish this on anybody. Like, do you know, have you guys watched the show The Last of Us?
Love that show.
The girl that plays Ellie has it too. And she talks about like what she deals with this shit every day. And she's like, bro, it's fucking terrible. And it's like but also on the plus side of it, I'm eating healthier now.
Right.
I'm eating my fucking fruits and vegetables after fucking so many years of not doing it. And now it's like, I quit fast food. Yeah, that includes In-N-Out. Wow. You're telling me, dude, no more Denny's after the show. No more fucking In-N-Out after the show. I'm like, no more
Taco Bell,
no
dude.
more Taco Bell.
That's
no
rough.
more Del Taco. None of that shit, dude. So it's no, especially not Waffle House, bro. God, but it's just like but there, like I say, I try to see the silver lining in all of it. Like, yeah, I might have this really stupid phobia that nobody is going to take seriously, but like at some point in time, I had to, as I was getting older, I'm like, I gotta change my diet up. Like, I gotta do something. Like, I can't eat a sleeve of Oreos at 4:00 in the morning anymore. So it's like, there's just things that like, because of that, that does 100% trigger my panic attacks. Like when you start to get nauseous, your body goes into fight or flight mode, and that is a part of the phobia that a lot of people can't get over, because you have to train your body to not do that. And when for years, that's all your body does do. How do you make it not do it?
Right.
So it's like, that's like something that I struggle with legitimately every single day and have been for the past years now looking back at it. So, that's really hard to deal with. It like, again, there are a lot of days where I don't think about it. Like if I'm at work or if I'm at a show or if I'm just, hanging out with my girlfriend or whatever the fuck, usually I'm not thinking about it. But then when you are alone in your room and you're trying to go to sleep, you're just like,
Yeah.
that's usually when that shit starts to happen. Or, my girlfriend and I, we love to try new restaurants, and I have to fucking be like, I swear to God, better not fucking, I better like this place.
Yeah. This place better be good.
This place better be good. But also, you better cook your fucking food right. It's really dumb. I know people are going to listen to this and be like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life. And it is. I will admit, it is dumb. I hate it. But it is something that I deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time, dude, like I wake up every day and I'm thankful that I have the life that I have, man. Ever since I will say this, ever since I joined Dear Adversary, that's a Christian band. I am not a Christian band, but I will tell you this, like seeing, like having my friends being in that band and being believers and just like kind of there's community around that too. I know that it's hardcore mixed in with the spiritual aspect. I'm not much of a religious guy, but just having this, like having a community of people that I've never met before message my band's page being like you guys brought me like closer to God and stuff like that. I'm like, that's a really cool feeling. So stuff like that, even though I don't believe much of that, I'm like, that makes me fucking happy.
It's cool.
And so just stuff like that is just really, really cool. And it gets me through the days and the weeks and the months and the years and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah.
Dude, thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, of course. That's a topic that honestly I've tried to talk to people about before, and I feel like I can't because they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And because it's a mental health thing along with like a physical pain, it's like not a lot of people are going to get it. So thanks for letting me share it too.
As someone who has constant diarrhea, I feel your pain.
Yeah, bro. Oh, bro. I get it, man. Yeah.
So, I'll try to go through this quickly for myself. When I was still touring, because that's what I wanted, right? Like, I had that. We had the best problem in the world, which was that we toured almost too much,
nonstop.
Yeah.
And I'm probably wrong on this, but I feel like the last tours that we did leading up to us taking our hiatus, I think we went from it was like the Riding Out tour, and then into the Census Fail tour, and then into the, was it Never Say Die? I don't know. And then our last tour basically being Funeral for a Friend in a European tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then coming back, to do a couple dates with Comeback Kid, and then that was it for us. Like when we stopped, and you would think that especially the last year and a half, like everything we were doing, every tour we were doing, it was like we were like supporting like big like legit acts, right? And, and it's like the perfect spot to be, right? Where we're like no pressure, we're not the headliner.
Yeah.
We're not opening, we have a good spot.
Yeah.
Things are going awesome, but like that was the most miserable time for me because I didn't know how to handle a lot of what I was dealing with as far as like people sharing things with me, which was amazing. People sharing me their stories and I didn't know how to protect myself from that because I was dealing with my own stuff, and then now I'm taking on people's stuff. So touring ended, and I was okay. I was like at some piece of that, and then I went back to school, and I kind of like I enjoyed it. I liked going back. I wanted to help somehow. I wanted to do eventually working on my degree for social work.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and while I was doing that, I was having like such high anxiety and like panic attacks that I was getting nosebleeds and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Like my nose, because blood pressure, my nose
Oh,
was
sure,
like
yeah.
crazy. And it was like, I was getting 1 to 2 nosebleeds a day.
Fuck.
And then I heard about when you, like a way to fix a panic attack is like you bite into a lemon because it sends your body into shock and it like gets you out of it.
Oh.
So I did that when I started to have an anxiety attack. So I'd bite into a lemon and it worked. And I
Wow.
was like, awesome. So then, let's have lemons in the house,
Yeah.
And then it happened again. Bite into it. It's not working. Bite into it again. Okay, cool. I was getting to the point where I was eating lemons like apples. Just because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I feeling this way when I'm doing something, like you say, like bigger than yourself, right? Like going to school, going back. For me, I went back to school after being out for I graduated in 2002 and then eventually graduated, got my degree in 2021.
Yeah.
So it was a long time.
Yeah.
And so,
Sorry.
so I graduate from,
Pull up the.
I get my degree and then I had a hard time getting a job,
Yeah, man.
and it sucked. And then while I was working towards my degree, I was working at a coffee shop, which I loved. It's like family, but I was like, okay, I want to like work in my field.
Yeah.
And then I finally get a job, like in my field. I work at a boys' home, working with at-risk youth, and I was miserable. It was mostly because of how they ran things,
Yeah.
but then it was like something I eventually got out of, and it was a bummer. But it was like, dude, like I should be enjoying these jobs. Like this is what I went to school,
Yeah.
went to school for, and then it took me a long time to get back into like something that's in the field of what I got my degree in.
Yeah.
And then, got married, moved to LA, had a hard time finding work.
Good.
And then finally I get basically the callbacks I get are for working with children with autism, so doing behavioral therapy.
Yeah.
And so not kind of what I was wanting to do, but I was like, oh, I'll do it. And plus it's the only place reaching out to me. So I do that. And as of like basically 2 weeks ago, I was working at this job and it was rough, dude. I was like struggling really hard. I was having, I kind of make a joke about it, but it was being real. Like I would just sit in my car, just staring at the steering wheel, just like, I don't know if I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm a good fit for this kid.
Yeah.
And then also I'm like, it wasn't really paying bills. Like we were struggling real hard with it. And, I carried a lot of the like, dude, I went to school for this. Like, it shouldn't be this way.
No.
Shouldn't have to feel this way. And also like I grew up with, same thing. Like the American dream was something that was pushed hard on us as kids. And, and, a lot of people aren't living in that life. That's just not the world we have.
No.
It's not we didn't get to inherit that.
No.
And there's a lot of different ways that, you can, I used to get like, I would get upset, I get down, I've been broke before, and it's super easy when you're by yourself. Like you have no one else, but then when you get married, it makes it, it's a whole different type of stress.
Yeah, sure.
And so I had 2 weeks ago, I had a friend of ours that, basically it worked out that I could go work for them. And it's like not in my, not what I went to school for. It's like driving a truck, delivering propane.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's like I've been able to breathe. I feel like in the last 2 weeks. There's the financial aspect of it is helpful and it's like good.
Yeah.
But also like in a weird way, it's kind of like something I needed as a reset, because it's kind of like an introvert's dream, because I'm in a car and like I'm just listening to music and like, or listening to like a podcast for hours, and then I could just or I'm singing hard.
Singing
Sing
what?
musicals.
I sing other stuff, guys.
Sending me voice messages and getting rear-ended.
Yeah. But anyway, so for me, it's so I feel like I'm in I'm like right now I really do feel like a sense of relief,
Yeah.
but it's still very frustrating to like, because I don't see my time in school as like a waste, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot how to protect myself. It changed a lot of like how I even like conversate with people. I feel how I listen. It's helped that, but it's being completely honest. Like I would like to have a good social work job, because that's what I went to school for.
Yeah.
I want to. I'd like to be helping like in the mental health world, because like that's if I can do a podcast about it, my band is about it. Like I want.
Maybe that is your work in the mental health world, dude.
What?
Your band and your podcast,
podcast.
and then propane just pays the bills.
Yeah, and I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's very easy to feel like, like this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I should be doing this.
Yeah.
I worked so hard for this.
Yeah.
I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Why isn't this happening?
Yep.
And it's like it's I don't think it's wrong to have those thoughts, obviously, and because it's real. That's the reality. But also, I feel very grateful because I have this opportunity to have this time in my car where I get to, like I said, like I downplay how much I sing. I sing a lot in my car.
Yeah.
And it's
You and me both.
yeah, and it's been good for me, and I'm kind of I'm trying to take this as like being okay with this reset, and that this is what I'm going to be doing for I don't know how long, but I want to be like I'm okay with it, because even though it's not what I envisioned for myself, it's not what I'd want. I feel grateful that I even have this opportunity.
Yeah.
And that it's something that's going to be helpful in the meantime, even if I don't end up, delivering propane for like however long it is.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be, I feel happy now, right now. Like I feel good. I feel some peace, and all that to hopefully say like I get how you feel.
Yeah. Thanks.
Because you did put a lot of work.
Yeah.
You got a degree for it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you should be working at a place like this. You should have those things.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that's just not what's. It's not that. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna be stuck where you are forever. Like
I hope not. Yeah.
Opportunities are gonna come, man. Like
the thing about and we could probably all maybe attest to this or not, but it's like especially when we work in like a field like audio, like it's like there's only so much you can do, and it's such a small business, but it's also such a big business because everybody, dude. But it's like the last two opportunities that I had to like work with people just like have fallen through, because it's like I'm like doing what I need to do, and the people that are like trying to bring me on to do something, they're just like they're too busy, and they just like they're the owner of a studio, or they're working with some guy at a studio, or they're the CEO of this company or of that company, and it's just like, okay, well, I'm a person too. I'm a worker too. Like I want to do this. Like I want to work for you because you seem like you're the real deal or whatever the fuck, and it's just like my time is valuable too. It's not all about you. I know it's not all about me either, but it's just like I'm trying to do some shit here. Let's make some shit happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why it goes back to the Anthony Mackie thing, where it's like success is not earned. It's fucking given. Sorry, but it is.
Yeah.
And I try to just work as hard as I possibly can, but like there's just some fucking days where you're just like, I don't care about this. I don't care. I don't want to work hard. I want to be lazy. I just want to, whatever. But yeah, but I don't know. We're just trying to, I try to see the silver lining in every possible situation that I can, and just try to just move on and just keep on going as much as I possibly can. But there are so many days where that mask is put on and that smile ain't really there.
Yep.
But you're just like, you see one, but it's not really there.
Yeah.
So, but I am thankful for like all the people that are in my life right now, especially my family. Like my family is very supportive of all these things that I've done. God, I cannot believe the things that they have like endured with my ass. Like growing up as a kid, they're just like, you want to go on tour? You want to do this? You want to, like when I went to audio engineering school, my parents were like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, no, I have no idea, but I gotta try something. And it's just like, it was the hardest 9 months I've ever done anything ever in my life. You want to know how many times I went to the hospital because of panic attack related things? Once a month. Once a fucking month. 2 of those times were me leaving class early. One of my teachers likes to talk about AI a lot. And one time I fucking straight up had a panic attack when he was talking about AI, but my panic attack was not because he was talking about AI.
Yeah.
So like I got up out of the class, walked in the lobby of my classroom. I called in my prescription. I was like, I need a prescription. And we were like taking a break, like a 20-minute break, and I told my teacher, I'm like, hey, I need to go to the pharmacy to get my anxiety prescription. Sorry, I took 45 minutes to walk around during class. And he's like, is it because I was talking about AI? I'm like, no, I swear to God, it wasn't that. So it's like, it's just nice to know that in this scene in the industry that everybody kind of like goes through the same crap.
Yeah.
So we all understand each other a little bit. And you know, I used to be the asshole that was like, oh, just get over it. That's not a real thing. And then it started happening to me and I'm like, fuck, that's what I get.
Yeah.
Karma. That's what I get. No, but you know, I'm grateful for you two doing this because I'm pretty sure the 148 guests that you've had on here all have different stories and nobody feels alone. You know, I don't know if the like whole like emetophobia thing is going on in somebody else in the scene's life. If it is, no, you're not alone now.
Yeah.
If you, and it, you know, that's a, you know, one person that I talk to a lot is Jason Pitcam Vids. I talk to him a lot. We talk all the fucking time about our mental health. He is one person I know I can confide in, and same thing goes back to him with me. And it's like, there's you two now. There's Jesse. You know, you as well. And it's just nice to have like this fucking, I love the hardcore scene very much because of the community that we have built for each other. You know what I mean? So I'm just very thankful for all of it, you know?
Dude, we wanted to do, we actually had plans to do like a nitty gritty down and dirty episode with Jason.
Yeah.
And just talk strictly about everything going on.
Yeah, of course.
And I think, I don't know, something happened. Like I think he was going through a spell,
Probably
of something.
Yeah.
So we just kind of tentatively like, wait, well, when things get
better,
we'll definitely do this. You know.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you know, with the show itself, like we like getting, you know, our friends on and like we just talk. We let it go wherever it wants to go. You know what I mean? But I think that there's also that. Like we do want to, for the people that are willing to really talk about everything and open up about everything, like do these like Walking Blind Presents where we just like, this is not just us bullshitting, you know, for
this is
a
like
while. This is like, let's talk about real shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not necessarily for like people to tune in and hear what's going on in your life, but more like a platform to, hey, like, let's just let this shit go.
Yeah.
And like, let's really get into the weeds and like let all this out.
Yeah.
And I think it's helpful like to be able to voice things that you've got going on, you know, even if there's no like solution at the end of it. You were still able to talk about it.
Half the time it's not even about the solution.
Yeah.
It's just the fucking talking about it, dude. You know, nobody has a solution for mental health problems. They're like, you can be medicated, you can go to therapy, you can do yoga, working out, you know, all this shit. There's so many things you can do, but there's not one fucking solution.
Right.
And if there was, you know, that would be awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But like, it's just not a thing, you know?
Zoloft.
No. No.
I think, and then going more on like, you know, something about this, like the podcast is like just creating a space.
Yeah.
And what, like, just what you said, like sharing what you have, like, you don't know. We don't know if we have,
none of
we
us
might have friends that we have been dealing with what you have and they just have never given a name or they've never known and been like,
dude,
that is...
when I was doing my research about it and it was given a name and I like deep dove further into it, bro, I literally like the amount of people that are on the internet that say the things that I think about myself and my own, or not about myself, like the things that I feel in my head. I'm like, oh, I wonder if any, and then just seeing that other people do it, just as fucked up as it's gonna say, it made me feel better that other people are
Yeah.
suffering. You
You're
know,
not alone.
Feels
it's
seen.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling seen and knowing that you're not the only one having to.
Like checking the YouTube comments, being like, I feel so seen. I feel so seen. I feel so seen. It's like, it's about time. Like, it feels great. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that it has to be under the pretense of suffering, but you know, it is again, a silver lining. Yeah.
Love it. Mike, where you at, man?
I'm good.
Imagine I'm good. Period.
This week was I actually had like a bunch of so at work we've been preparing for this upgrade that's going to go in for the system in the beginning of April. So it's been a lot of like, hey, make sure that your training materials and everything are ready so that you can distribute them to the people that need them. And then like there's going to be a freeze on our training environments, and then Monday we have to test for them and things like that. Well, we had like prepping all this stuff for like a few months leading up to like train the trainer sessions, where basically I like, if you're a trainer and you train Mike, I train you to make sure you know what's going on with the system, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much it was stressing me out to deal with all that upgrade stuff while I was also like doing these extra like credentialing cycles with new trainers and things like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I finished my train the trainer sessions, I woke up that morning with a migraine. It was like fucking like crazy, but I was like, we've been building up to this. I have to do these. I have this meeting with like 38 people and like leadership and like all this stuff that I got to present to. So afterwards, I just felt like this, like, all right, now you need to just like nap, dude. Like you just need to just like
Physically rest.
Yeah. And I told him, I was like, dude, I have this huge migraine. I'm going to stick it out through the end of my sessions, but then I'm going to go home and like, I need to just like turn the lights off and go to sleep, you know? And he was like, yeah, you don't want that to get worse. Like he's pretty understanding. So legit, like I finished my train the trainer sessions, and then I asked a question about something else I was working on, and then I just clocked out for the day and just laid in bed, turned the TV on like to some nonsense stuff in the background, and just like slept for a few hours.
Do you guys like to sleep with the TV on, or like have like white noise on?
I do.
Yeah.
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 I leave the TV on to usually something that I've already seen or whatever, and just let
Do you guys ever do you guys like to watch the same movies over and over again?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that when I was talking to my therapist about, she was asking me about those questions about like just anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like that's like a very, very common thing, because it's like, you know what's gonna happen. You don't have to worry about shit. That's why, dude, like I literally wake up to Friends every day. I fall asleep to Friends every day. I also I have the fan on. I have like these affirmations going on while I sleep. So it's just like, and you know, a lot of people are like, well, doesn't that like mess your sleep up? It's like, if I don't have any of that shit on, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of like almost like drowns out what's going on.
It quiets your mind. That's what my therapist told me. She was like, this seems to be quieting your mind. And she's like, how long have you been doing this for? I'm like, 5 years at this point. She's like, yeah, but it makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And, you know, I legit like it. And like, I talk about this stuff with my girlfriend sometimes because, you know, she's just asking questions. She's curious about all that. And, you know, one thing that, she mentions to me, she's like, you know, you have such a hard time sleeping, but then when I'm around you, you fall asleep like that. And I go, it's because
I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
You make me feel safe. And she's just like, that's a thing? I'm like, yeah. She's like, holy shit, I never even thought of that before. And I go, yeah, like legit. And then I did some more research on that stuff. It's like statistically shown that if you are like in love with somebody and they're in your vicinity and you fall asleep quick, your body is telling you that that person is safe for you and you are in a good spot.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
like you are safe. Like nothing can, like your body just like, it just knows. It's weird. Fucking weird, dude. It's
Wow,
so
it's-
cool.
That's why I always fall asleep when Jesse comes over.
Yeah. You fall asleep on him, you know what I mean? Like he's your
Giant-
bodybuilder,
giant
just
teddy
like,
bear.
come here.
I think I'm the one that falls asleep around her. She stays up though, so
Yeah.
one day, one day I'll make you feel safe.
Yeah, one day you'll feel safe. All right, well let's jump into our Spotify playlist, and then
Spotify playlist.
and then I want to. So the reason
Is
why
this a new segment?
no.
Yes. Kind I mean, it's been on for a while. I'm saying, like,
Oh,
does he not know about it?
well, yeah, we just add. So you're gonna pick one of your bands,
Oh.
pick a song, throw it on the playlist,
Oh.
and then something that you've been jamming. No genre restrictions or anything. Just
Okay.
what's something that you've been jamming lately?
Okay, so what was the first one again? Sorry.
Pick one of your bands and a single
Yeah.
from one of your bands.
Dear Adversary, Save Me From Myself. That is the... I'm very proud of that. I did not write any of it. I just mixed and mastered it, but it's a very... if you're a fan of Verse, Comeback Kid, Have Heart, all that type of stuff, you are going to dig it. We have another single coming out at the end of the month that is going to be... I think people are going to like it. I think they're going to come out of mosh retirement.
So today we had a wedding reception to go to,
Sure.
and so we went and got coffee before, and I think you were writing like on the card, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna take this time to check out Dear Adversary because I haven't heard it.
thanks.
So I put it on, and I was just like, I like this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like this
Thank
a lot.
you. You know, it's interesting since you are here. Juan Gutierrez, a friend of mine who lives out in Vegas. Shout out to him. He's a great friend of mine. He's a big fan of you guys. Yeah, and so we exchanged new singles that are going to be coming out. He showed me his band's new single coming out next week. He plays in a band called The After Hour, which is like a really poppy, like the band Camino type shit, like 1975, the Midnight type stuff. And I showed him the newest Dear Adversary single that's going to come out, and he said, "Oh my God, this reminds me of No Bragging Rights." he's like, this shit is so good. I would come out of mosh retirement. And
Hell
a
yeah.
couple other friends of mine were like, "You got me moshing in my room at 1 o'clock in the morning with this
Hell
one."
yeah.
I'm like, let's fucking go. So I definitely would pick that song. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I melodic hardcore, if you want to call it that era of hardcore is the best of it. I don't care what anybody says. And then, sorry, you were saying, what's the second one? A song that I'm jamming?
Just something you've been jamming.
Let me see.
No genre restriction.
No genre.
No genre restriction? All right, let me see. I'm going to have to pull mine
This
up.
list is very long. The Spotify playlist is.
God, dude. Oh, man. Okay, so Spotify has, like, I don't really, like, I just put on one of my playlists and just hit shuffle,
Yeah.
you know? There's, let's see. I mean, dude, the one song that I never get tired of that I jam on the fucking daily is by the band Gin Blossoms. Are we all familiar?
Yeah, we listened to them literally on the way here.
The song called Found Out About You,
Hell yeah.
probably the greatest written song in the history of music, especially in like 90s like rock music,
Yeah.
pop rock music. I'd say that. A band I also listen to on the daily is called Toad the Wet Sprocket. You guys know who they are?
I feel like I've heard them. but
You'll
I'm not-
know. Okay, so I'll pick two songs that I listen to from them a lot. The first song is called Damn Will Break, like DAM Will Break. Great song. And then the song you would probably know is called All I Want. You'll know that song by the chorus. Like the verses, you'll be like, I don't know if I know this. Then when the chorus, oh, I know that. It's that type of shit.
What are they called again?
Toad the Wet Sprocket, which apparently is a Monty Python reference. Did not know that. And then I don't know, man. I just listened to, like I said, I just listened to playlists that I like, my top 100, because I don't know what else to listen to. I'm just top 100 shuffle,
Shuffle.
and then whatever comes on is basically that. yeah.
Our playlist, I like it because it's so fucking random. It
Oh,
has-
dude.
It has everything from like, because obviously we have like bands that are in the scene.
Yeah.
But then we have like like in
Musicals.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's I make playlists pretty like every year I make what is called like the year banger playlist.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in my local coffee shop, and do we know who Gracie Abrams is?
No.
I don't think so.
Put the song That's So True on there, please.
All right.
That is a banger song. And then I discovered this band on TikTok. They're an Irish pop punk band called Grey Wind. Have you heard of them? You guys would like them a lot. Let me see. I just want to... Nope, sorry about that. That's gonna cost you guys a copyright strike. Let me find. I just want to find the album real quick. I just want to know what it's called. Okay, put the album called Antidote on there. It's from 2024. It's an EP.
All right.
Just play that. It's so good. It's like Paramore Riot level good.
Sick.
Yeah. Shit is so catchy.
I don't care what this does to no bragging rights, but when you travel, everyone has we all have like similar tastes, but everyone has their own shit. Everyone has their own headphones.
Yeah.
Dude, when Riot came out,
Mm-hmm.
it was one of like 3 albums in like the history of our band that you put it in
And everyone's listening.
Everyone's listening.
Of course it is. That's you. There's no getting around how good that album is.
Yeah.
Even the one after that is very, very good.
What do you want to add?
I'm gonna add because I was listening to the singer Nick, who was on the podcast for Krista Makes a Podcast, the singer from Less Than Jake, or one of the singers of Less Than Jake. The song Best Ever Had by the Swellers.
Oh, dude, the
Hell yeah.
Swellers! Wow,
Dude,
that's a fucking band name I haven't heard in a while.
we randomly we had played a show on my birthday. It's like 2000 like 3 or something, 2004,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, in Redlands. It
Yeah.
was with the Swellers.
Wow.
And then we just stayed friends with those dudes, and they went on to do really cool shit.
Don't they have a song with Haley Williams?
Do they?
I think they do. Oh, you know what? No, I take that back. I saw them play a concert at the House of Blues on the Sunset Strip when it was around, and it was Bayside, Silverstein, the Swellers, and Texas in July that opened. It was for, oh my God, it was for like not the Taste of Chaos. What the fuck? It was like it's a well-known like, not iHeart. I don't fucking remember what it was, but it was for like it's for like a
Like a fest type thing?
no, it was a tour. Like it was like a sponsored tour for something that like it's like a legacy thing, like the Taste of Chaos. Like the name is like synonymous with. Oh, I gotta pull it up. It's gonna bother me. Like, hang on. But yeah, it was a very like the Swellers had Haley Williams singing a song with them.
Sick.
But I don't think she was featured like in the song that she sang. So that might be where I get the mix up from.
Weenie Roast.
The K Rock Arena.
Dude, it's funny. A couple of my coworkers were mentioned that fest the other day. Whatever fucking happened to it? Is it not a thing anymore or what?
I don't know.
I think they only do the Christmas show now. They don't do a Weenie Roast anymore.
Boo. Hang on, let me see here. Oh, it's called the Take. It was called the Take Action Tour.
Oh
Yeah.
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 So for me, I'm gonna add. This is a random Instagram ad that actually worked on me. This band called Cherie Amour. It's like R&B with breakdowns.
Oh, I think I saw that earlier.
The dude's like dancing in the
I
fucking
saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, I
It's
saw
cool. It's a cool song. So we'll give them some.
I love
props.
that people are just meshing two genres that shouldn't be together that just fucking work.
Yeah,
dude.
and it
I
just works.
Love it.
Freaking, what's his name? That guy that sings the. Me and Jack Down got a history.
Oh, Shabuzi.
Shabuzi.
It's a banger too. So, well, let's plug some socials and get out of here, man.
Who goes first? Me or what? I changed my handle recently. Billy Sweet _ is my Instagram handle.
Sweet.
Yeah.
For us at Walking Blind Pod everywhere, walkingblindpod@gmail.com. So I was trying to, when I had the social media go off, we had a question that was sent to us in a message that I remembered that we had. So I'm going to end on this question with you.
God.
And I just want a quick one-word answer for this.
Oh.
And it's going to be so hard to do.
Okay.
It's from Ty. If you could wake up tomorrow and be the guitarist, bassist, drummer, or vocalist for any band,
Fucking tied.
who would it be?
Bass player of Paramore is my answer.
Woo! Nice. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Back again.